This program is rated MA. It contains adult themes, coarse language, sexual references, and violence.
All right, what's up, everybody? Hopefully I'm not too loud there. It's Friday night, open comms. We're here. Me and Dirk are the only regular gone. Rain's gone, Blassom's gone, Brisk is gone. But we got Matterall here. How's it going, man?
Good.
And McLeod's back. How's it doing? How's it going? Not how's it doing? How's it going?
It's doing and going well.
What are you talking about when you say how's it doing?
What the business? What it do?
McLeod's back apparently in a sweltering place like the United Kingdom.
No, it's just one of those things where I was like, oh fuck, my hair's all terrible, so I just like chuck some.
No,
water
I'm
in
talking
it,
about
and
the fan,
like
the oscillating fan in your.
Oh yeah. Well, you know.
It's for that video vamp look of the hair blowing in the wind.
Yeah. But it's not supposed to blow forward though.
Yeah, that's true.
And then
Anyways, the rocker look, man.
I was
the
gonna
rocker
say,
look.
Graf just jumped in.
You have to
as
get
well.
the
How's it going,
London
Graf?
rocker look.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say Grath is supposed to be here as well, but he said
I am here.
No, I was just saying, Graf just jumped in.
I'm here.
I know that. I was just about ready to say that you were going to be a couple minutes late, but
I'm not.
But you're not.
But he's
yeah.
not.
So yeah, there we go. Hold on.
Yeah,
I'm
the
reading something
season
that
finale
Dirk
of
is
Jack
American,
Ryan wasn't as
so
long as I thought it
uses
was.
hold. Okay, I'm seeing pop-ups here that have my freaking name in it, and I'm like, what is somebody saying about me in a different freaking Discord? Anyways.
And then Arian Rod begin just.
Who gives a shit? I don't want to know. I don't want to know
man.
what people say about me in other Discords. But yeah, thank you. Would you say 21 months?
21 months.
Yeah.
Grad, you talking about Jack Ryan? Are you watching that series or something?
Yeah, it's so fucking good.
Is it?
You know,
we'll just
check
start off with a really quick review. So this is the new Jack Ryan series, starring the guy from The Office, the other guy from The Office, and it's on Amazon, and it was just released yesterday, I think, right?
Oh, it's on Amazon. I thought it was on
yeah.
Hulu.
Like last night, late last night, I think it came out.
Yep.
And I was like, I'll just watch the.
Oh.
Did we censor him?
No, he muted his own mic.
He censored himself.
He's Strata?
I imagine he's done something that I've done before, which is moved your mic and then it unplugged itself or something.
Maybe. I was like,
anyways,
something OPSEC just came up. I think.
Are you guys getting money for the Jack Ryan plug? No, we're not. We're not.
I was gonna say.
When I was talking to Graf just prior to the show or whatever, he's like, I gotta go. I'm watching. I'm like, oh shit! I thought it was released tonight, but I think it was released on the 31st, but it was like midnight, so it would have been like last night or whatever. And then it's just how it freaking came up.
And then,
well, it looks like Looney's kind of like stepping in on Amazon's behalf and like helping us out there.
Yeah. So real quick, Nadok Helsinki, 32 months. Holy shit! And then we got a 420 donation from
Jesus.
From Looney Fucker. Thanks, man. Thanks.
No, not a movie. This is like a series of Jack Ryan in his younger days.
Wait, am I making noise now, right?
Yep.
You are.
Now.
I don't know what the fuck happened. It was like you muted yourself, and I'm like, I did.
We just saw the mute mic thing come up, but.
Oh my god, I've got to go over and kill a freaking mute.
A mutant?
You're gonna kill a mute?
No,
anyway, Jack Ryan ranks pretty high up on the binge watch scale for sure. Like I pounded out.
It kind of looks like you're looking at like a mass of water slowly encroaching on you again.
What are you talking about?
You're on the wrong comms, bro.
And apparently,
I was suddenly concerned.
I said hold down the fort, but it's hold the fort is what Sothwasel is saying, but he's just wrong. It's hold down the fort. I'm sure that there is a hold the fort as well, but
you have to have very large
attacked,
arms to be able to literally hold a fort.
Yep.
No, you hold the fort. That means you hold camp. You guard the camp.
You hold down the fort is like you're in charge. Don't make sure it's still there when I get back, type of thing.
Hold the fort, hold down the fort. I think they mean the exact same thing.
Yeah, yeah.
We're on semantics right now, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Odin's scrolling
Anyways.
this Darbo 42 months. Thanks, man.
42.
42
God damn.
months. Jesus.
They're just they're incrementally going up.
Well, that's
And
how it works.
I am totally
That's
going
how
to let
time
Graf
works.
talk. There's just been some things that have happened in the way while he's like, softly tried to interject or something, but
Yeah. Am I soft?
no.
No,
I always feel pretty hard.
It was meant to be kind of facetious. But yeah, anyways.
Always for you. In
So
seventh grade?
Rain's away traveling, just so people know, and Blastum's doing a work gig, and so both of them can't be here tonight, but hopefully we'll see him soon, because it's only some Fridays that he's away. It just happens to have been the last couple of Fridays and whatnot. So
Yeah.
Hopefully
I think
get
he
Blastum
said he's
back
going to
soon.
be missing most of this month. Well, that was the month it's finishing, but he might miss a couple weeks in September as well. He's kind of busy with that thing, but
oh yeah,
Rain's gone tonight. She's gone next week, and then she should be back.
she said she may be back in time for next week.
Is the summit? Brisk won't be here next week either because of the
So right, yeah. Brisk will not. I wouldn't expect to be home by next Friday. Yeah, so I would expect him to be gone for next Friday as well. What I'm really hoping by the following week is to have summit notes and get him obviously and a couple of the other ones that were on. So we will definitely rehash those when they're back, and who knows, maybe we'll hear stuff in between. Yeah, whatever. But yeah, he's actually traveling out today. So Godspeed, Brisk Rubal,
Safe flight.
safe flight.
Oh,
So that summit begins when? Saturday?
No, Monday. I'm sure tomorrow. Yeah. Like you've already got people that were rolling in and whatnot. It was like I swear to God, it feels like the judge left like 5 days ago. I've been seeing tweets from him traveling. He's like, yep, just hit Abu Dhabi, and yep, now I'm on the way to London. And
They should do that Indiana Jones on the map, the plane going from like
No.
island to island.
I think
Yeah.
Sort left like a day after him or something like that. So those poor bastards are having to travel clear across the world to go to this thing.
Boogeyman is saying that a player, Renessa Lionheart, passed away Wednesday night.
Oh.
Oh, rip.
That's, yeah.
Oh, I did not hear that.
Sad.
You know what?
I didn't hear about that.
As much as I didn't want to do a shot, you know what?
Yeah, we'll do a in
It's
remembrance
always
shot.
it's always kind of it's always
I,
kind of sad to hear.
you shouldn't really shot McCallum, but fuck it.
Do it.
Shit, I don't know what's in the bottom of my shot glass there, but whatever.
It's just protein.
It's Renessa Lionheart.
If it's a bug. Yeah.
Yeah, I did not see something get announced on that. That's kind of sad. Hope the family's okay and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Man, now I feel like
So-
I feel like we just dropped down a little bit.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I just saw it come up. I figured we should mention it, but I mean, we can move on to topics though.
Well, I'm just saying, hey, I've had another one of those weeks, and I'm not going to sit there and just, I went down to pick up my daughter today, so she's back for the long weekend, but, oh, man, 3 days ago, my mother-in-law went into the hospital with, like, a mini stroke, and, yeah, so, like, my
What
wife's
is a mini stroke?
Meaning we're not talking about how she's dead right now, number one.
a good thing.
A blockage in a small blood vessel, and she happened to be here at the time, and was talking about numbness in the arm, leg, and face. And I swear to God, she literally said this. I'm just going to walk it off. And I'm like, okay, look, if you're a little numb on your arm or a little numb on your leg, I'd say, okay, maybe we'll see if that works. See if it's just something fell asleep or. I go, when you've got all three at one time, literally, if you go and Google numbness in your face, arm, and leg. Okay, like it doesn't even give you an option for all three. It just focuses on, well, each one of these could be a sign of a stroke, right? Like if you hit the trifecta.
You got the royal
that's-
flush.
yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, no, you need to go to the hospital literally right now. And she did the whole, no, let me just see if this passes. I go, no, the whole thing with a stroke is you don't wait to see if shit passes.
Yeah,
if
see,
it looks like a
that's-
stroke, you immediately get on it.
I remember there was an awareness commercial up here on the radio that was about that. A lot of times when people have strokes, they don't think anything, or they're just like and they try to like pass it off and wait, and then that's when they can get in big trouble because the radio thing was, this lady was like, "Sir, are you okay?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I just gotta get these files put away." She's like, "Your head's on fire." "No, I'm just gonna lie down for a bit. I should be all right." It's like this is how ridiculous it sounds when someone's having a stroke and they say they're fine.
I laugh now because she is, she is back home, and well, she's home back saying here, but and everything. I don't want to say everything's fine because obviously, look, once you've had one of these things, all of a sudden a whole bunch of things change and all of that. But she's alive, and my wife's a little, is definitely relieved and all that kind of stuff. But so it's been another one of those. It's been another one of those week in the life of fucking goddamn Dirk. You got some bad karma in 2018.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you go to the wrong beach. You go to beaches in New Jersey, so that's where all your bad karma comes.
I've gone from cars to like
your car karma passed on to me.
Now people are starting to be affected in my life. So.
Your car karma passed on to me because was it 2 days ago? I was just coming out of a restaurant and I looked at the side of my car and there's like a giant, like along the bottom, like at those little ridges below your door. There, from the front of the front door all the way to the back wheel well, there's just this big white scrape along my car. Like someone was backing out and like turning and like just scraped along the whole side of my car with their bumper and just took off.
And Random Recovery Al just said, I'm not a medical professional, but I believe if you have a mini stroke, you need to get to the hospital. Well, really, it's if you have any blockage, right? If you have any stroke, there's a 4-hour window that they can administer, and I forget what the name of the drug is or whatever, to be able to dissolve it, and pretty much 3-month outcomes are much better, because of this thing, right? Outside of that 4 hours, they can no longer do that. And that was like all of a sudden she remembered like. As she was sitting there going, "No, I'll try and walk this." You gotta understand, this woman's like, I don't know, 115 pounds soaking wet or whatever. It's not like she ain't some, big chubber or anything like that. Like you might sit there and go, "Oh, Dirk stroked." Well, who didn't see that coming? She did remember the fact that, there is this window thing where they can administer this drug that she had heard about. And she's like, "Yeah, you know what? Instead of you taking me to the hospital, just call the ambulance because maybe they can do it on the way," which they don't do on the way. They do when they get to the hospital or whatever. But I should be on open comms. I'm the most unbiased and only tell the truth. Yeah, well, then maybe you shouldn't be on open comms because apparently we're quite biased. But
this is the Goon Show.
What is the bias thing coming up again? Why is that coming up?
Well, we could actually, the way I arrange the cameras, we could have a left versus right battle because we got.
I'm really just joking.
Pan Fam on the left side and then Imperium on the right.
King Aries, I think we've seen Dirk stroke on stream many times. maybe.
That explains.
That's on the after show, right?
Well, my wife said to me, she's like, my wife's father was, and I talked about this years ago or whatever. He was an alcoholic. He ended up having a stroke, and we think that there was a time when he had a stroke, but like a mini type stroke, where he was slurring. And she's like, but you know what? I couldn't tell. She's like, and she refers to me and she goes, see, if this happened to him, I would know right away. I go, except on Friday night. She goes, well, okay, except on Friday night. She's like, however, if on a Friday night you told me that you were numb on one side of your body, she's like, I would take the, whether you were slurring or not out of the equation. Anyways, okay, so enough about me. Yeah, let's get on to
about your karma. No more bad.
Yeah, let's get on. I know. Well, I'm trying to wish it away by speaking openly about these things and whatnot. But
you need like a voodoo, some kind of ceremony done to you to.
I continue to knock on freaking wood. I continue to dodge all of it personally, like from the standpoint of my fucking car is still cool, and I'm still alive, and.
So you're like a what is that thing, like a Dybbuk box where like you just cause mayhem around you? But
well, I don't know. Yeah. Maybe I'm just a carrier or something. I'm the carrier of bad karma.
You're immune to it yourself. Oh wow.
All that being said, we've got some announcements out from CCP this week before we get into kind of anything serious and whatnot. I don't know. What do we got? What are we starting off with?
There's some cool stuff, right?
There is. And like, okay, so this is probably going to take another shot or something like that. But I want to give a shout out to CCP Karker, who came out with another one of those little things.
I already have a suggestion. I'm going to throw in this thing, but
Yep.
Little things have basically been the gift that keeps on giving, like every single time.
Well, as they should be. Like little things should kind of be those little things that they do that are like quality of life adjustments.
Yeah, but
and things
you
like
say
that.
they're little, like they influence so much. They influence your gameplay positively. So
I feel like a lot of them influence a majority of people, whereas some of the bigger changes, it's like, here's big, massive changes to faction warfare. It's like, I don't use that, so I don't care. And then it's like, here's a change to the inventory system. Nice. It's like, just added a couple buttons.
The fact that I can now know in fleets that like a claw is like spamming broadcast for fucking armor, and I can just ignore it is fucking fantastic. And that was part of the little things.
That was an old little thing, yeah, from a little while ago. We got another.
The first thing I ever asked for, pretty much in Eve, when I asked for a thing to give me the total of number of skins that I have, and they added that. That was pretty good.
Nice.
But right off the bat in this blog that I posted out there into the chat channel is modules in cargo are now included when a fit is saved.
Hooray!
At long last.
At long last, when you get one of those, hey motherfuckers, you need a bunch of other modules for this thing, and you know what? We can't fit all those other modules on the ship, so therefore we're gonna put them in the cargo. But guess what? They don't fit in the
Do they?
Saved
I haven't checked this. Do they do the cargo containers as well?
I don't know. It just says see, it just says modules in cargo. So
that might be the next thing.
Now I saw a mention of the drones thing, but I don't know if it was someone suggesting to do it with drones, or that it was saying that it was going like I think it was saying like, if say you save the fit and you've launched your drones out, it will still account that you have drones on that fit or something.
You guys are getting into the most obscure details about this,
dude. We have fits in
in
initiative where
the niche circumstances you're talking about are so. You know where this helps is, I don't know where it helps. Helps everywhere.
Well,
but it won't matter in NC, because NC has a tool that tells you your fit and what you're supposed to be in and the difference.
Yeah.
And none of that is formatted, and you can't even copy it to EFT or anything like that. So, won't help us.
Oh, I think it will help for certain things there. I mean, I don't know specifically, but now when I read this, it does say modules in cargo, so I'm going to assume that obviously ammo and charges were already included before, right? Those would already be there. Yeah. Now if this is just modules, I don't know if it's other things like exotic dancers or anything like that. I'm assuming because they put the word modules, it only means modules.
Yeah, not livestock.
Not lifestyle?
No, livestock. If you look at the exotic dancers, they're in the livestock category.
That's so rude.
They
didn't know that.
But this is this is really big, right? Because there are far.
Why is this really big?
Well, okay. Forget the elite entities out there who will change their fits while already out in space and all that kind of stuff, right? These the people that are really, or like while in warp or something like that, right? Let's just look at it from the standpoint of within your corporate alliance or whatever, you want to have this particular ship, and sometimes you're going to fit sensor damp, sometimes you're going to fit tracking disruptors. Even if all you're going to do is make that change at the before you ever undock and then never make it again, this at least allows the fits to be saved so that people know, well, if I go to fit up this ship, I need to have all of these extra mods with it as well.
Yeah. I think when you're playing at really high levels of EVE Online, where things get really intricate, you need to be prepared for as much as possible, because things may change when you're already undocked and out in a fleet, and you don't have time to go all the way back and redress yourself into whatever fit you need. So you need to carry a bunch of extra stuff with you, and then you use different ships to change your fittings while you're out in space. So you need to have all that stuff with you, especially super.
I don't want to be the one to sort of say, oh, this is the fleet meta or et cetera of today, but like when it comes to large fleets versus large fleets, typically one fleet tends to sort of wait until the next fleet undocks in order to see what they have, in order to see what they're committing, to be able to figure out the best counter that they want to actually undock with. And if you have that ability to be able to switch it up, in the middle of movement or in the middle of like a situation, to give like your adversaries like a big surprise, it's a big positive.
Well, and this just goes to show you like what the complete fit is, because the fitting stuff before wasn't able to give you the complete fit. It's only giving you the standard one, and then your alternative stuff that's supposed to be in cargo was never included, and that's what this actually is. For people who don't know what the big fuss is,
it's a good thing.
Well, there's a bunch of other things in there, right? Do you have a link to that? I should check it out. The little things has a bunch of little things.
Well, and someone was mentioning that it's going to be a big deal for people in wormholes. But there was another thing with wormholes, is that something about that the activate, jump, hotkey and stuff actually will work in wormholes now. I don't know if that means like on wormholes, like you can click on a wormhole and like push like D, that's the default key that I use, or like, and you could it'll just go in there and automatically jump through, is what I'm assuming, instead of like having to land on grid and then right click enter wormhole.
That's a good assumption. Yeah, the same thing that'll jump you through a system will jump you through a wormhole. Same hotkey.
Yeah, that would be really
That's one of the things that's in this little things, right? Okay,
yeah.
I just wanted to go like to kind of the next thing in line. Okay, not that we're going to go through everything in line here, because honestly, while there are a number of little things here, I think they're going to be more meaningful to different people in different places, and all that. But just literally right off the bat, you had the first one with the fit state. You'll also now be able to update fits. Before, if you wanted to name, go in there, put a fit in, and then like name it the same thing as something else, basically update it, you couldn't do that. So here, if you try to save a fit with the existing file name for the same ship type, you get the option to either update the fit or cancel.
Yeah, I used to have to save as, which is just a pain.
Yeah.
So it's like that's definitely one of those Yeah,
a lot of times if you saved as, it just made a second.
This is all
copy
quality of life shit.
Yeah, it's all nice. One
of
the
things, keeping people from like trying to wash your windows when you're driving down a New York street or something like that.
Yeah, the thing I want to suggest,
like little Rudy Giuliani things.
It might already be on there, but it's like how they have the multi-sell and the multi-buy windows and stuff. I want that for contracts. I want to be able to be like set up one contract with like a fit ship or something and be like, okay, now can you put 6 of these contracts up with the same exact setup, name, and description and everything, and like bam, just. Instead of having to make a contract every single time, like fit all the ships and like that would be handy.
I actually haven't heard that before, so maybe you want to send that to Kirk.
I'm gonna check the forums. If it's already on there, then I'll just like I concur or whatever. I agree on there, but I concur. If it's not on there, then yeah, righto.
Adjust my monocle.
But
the one thing about contracts though, like you guys may have missed, like it's already been changed, but like there is an API, well not an API, an ESI kind of extension thing for public contracts now, so you can actually use like ESI to be able to figure out the the most lucrative contracts very, very quickly and be able to buy them.
Yeah, well, like someone was saying, it's great for corp. That's the exact thing, because I haven't done it in a bit, but like once in a while I'll take a jump freighter and I'll because I'll bring in Munins or scimitars or stuff to put on, because that's pretty much how like Black Legion doesn't build their own ships. We just import everything and then put them up on corp contracts, and then people just buy them when we use them. And it's like I've gone and done that. It's like I gotta set up like 10 contracts and like set them up manually every single time. I'd like to just set up one and be like, do this 10 times and then click, and that would be so nice.
What if somebody puts a tariff on you? Are you still going to still be able to import them at a reasonable price?
Yeah.
Anyway, somebody out there actually asked the questions. Imperium News. Do you think we will ever? Oh, no, not that one. Sorry. Blah 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 blah. Did I read the ability? Sorry, Wet Elbow said. Did I read ability to simulate fitted ship contracts? Yes. Yes. Actually, that's down there. Fitted ships in contracts can now be simulated.
Ooh, so I don't understand what that is. I guess. Oh, that's interesting, because then
if there's a ship in a contract and it's fitted, you can.
So if you're shopping if you're shopping for a contract, let's say your alliance puts up contracts, you can grab that contract, simulate it, and see if you fit in it. See if you can fly the thing. That's pretty key.
Or if the funny thing about that thing, but you have Logi 4 instead of Logi 5, you're like, oh, that doesn't work for me.
If the rigs are in cargo and not fitted, then there might be a discrepancy on that.
There could be an issue there.
By the way.
I always
Yep,
hate the
there
rigs.
could be an issue there.
But
Yeah,
generally-
I'm not sure how important this is. You know, I guess
Then
I'd
once
have to
you-
hear more. Go ahead.
Once
Jeff,
you
what?
have the ship in the simulator, you can just add the rigs that it should normally have on it and see if you can fit it. Like that's not
This
a
is
problem.
simulator.
true. This is very true.
Oh, we just got
Thank you,
11
Matuna.
bucks. Yeah, from Matuna. I thought Matani donated for a second. I was like, what are you doing?
Damn,
thanks,
Matani
Matuna.
gave us some? You just tipped $1, by the way.
11 or
You got the
1.
name wrong and the freaking amount wrong, but it's fine.
Oh, it was $1. I thought it looked like 11 bucks to me.
If it had been the Matani, it would have been 11. Actually,
like
it
a-
would've
See,
been
now
neg-
you're just guilting
neg-
Matuna
negative
now.
11.
Well, would that
Now
be a
you're just
tax
guilting
write-off? So he
Matuna
could be like,
now.
I donated $11, and he gets like 6 of it back. Or like 5 back. Or
What's up,
something.
Inimical? Let's see here. What is this? Again, I don't want to go through all the. I mean, look, were there any other ones here that kind of really, struck out to you guys as being something that was like, super important to you? Because again, all of these things tend to come from feedback on the forums, through the CSM, other places, right? So therefore, they seem to be meaningful enough to somebody out there that the little teams thing, actually put in. So, I don't know. The market ticker will now display the info for items in a folder you have specified as a ticker folder in your market quick bar.
I think it's great. This is
Booyah!
I don't really use the
fantastic.
quick. I really should set up a quick bar, but I just manually type in everything I want to shop for in the market. Still,
That is pretty
wow.
cool. not gonna
it's
lie.
really inefficient. I've had 6
Multi-buy
years.
has been added to the Neocom menu under business,
But
and
that
shortcut
would be
for
nice.
it has also been added.
But they took away the buy all from skills. They used to be able to buy a whole tree of skills at the same time. I haven't been able to find it.
Did they take that away, or is that something that kind of went away and they need to fix it, or?
Yeah, probably they needed to fix it. It was bugged out or something.
Oh, okay. The inimical.
The Inimical just tipped $111, Drayden.
Ooh.
Is that what that?
Since we're missing
I was
one.
about. I was like, I'm pretty sure this is 11 this time. I'm gonna look really close at it.
You know what?
That's really
I really feel like celebrating and doing I don't know, a
Shots to
shot
small
to,
things.
a shot to small things, big things, and things in between. about that?
And
Shot
we
to
can't-
cock or in a
We,
team.
we can't just do shots of running. I mean,
today I do wish I had something to drink.
do you? Why?
Yeah.
Because of that sad boy on the picture
Yeah,
behind you?
he's.
This is my alter ego. It's like,
Separated child.
people say like, where's that software you promised me? That's what I look like. It's not
But
done
yeah,
yet.
so let's see. This will probably be a big one for Grath. I'm surprised he didn't bring it up. You can now activate multiple skin licenses at one time.
I wonder if Rain sent that in. Like,
So
I would
the
imagine.
fact that you can see how many skins you have
Yeah,
is
that's
that
more important.
quite
to me.
is that quite literally to be able to see how much skin you have in the game?
yeah,
I
basically.
don't know. I asked. I just did. I don't feel like you got to go through and manually add up how many of each one you've got in each category or whatever. I thought it was. I asked specifically on the forums. Can you just give me a total? And so they said it'll be at the top.
Sure
Or
says
each-
like people have a pile of skins they need to activate at once. Number one, when you have one of these events out there where you're out there running an event, you just end up at the end with just an ass load of freaking potentially new skins or whatever. Yeah, you may have a bunch. Or if a new line of skins comes out and you buy them all, you want to just grab them all at once and activate instead of just activating one at a time. Yeah, I mean that
I'm sure
it
people
does happen.
I'm sure people they if they're out null-sec and out null-sec, maybe they don't have a Jita ult. I mean, most people do, but maybe they're just like, okay, I want all these skins. So they go to Jita and fill up their shopping list and then just either in-plan them all or contract them all and then just activate them all at once. I mean, I can see that. It's little quality of life things. It's not major changes to the game, but
Skins are now grouped by name in the character sheet rather than material.
Nice.
what does that do?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
Rather than
Like,
material?
were they grouped by material?
I think by material is like by ship or
By
something
ship,
like that.
okay.
right?
Huh.
I don't know. Which will reduce the number of groups.
I'm sure that's important to someone. I mean, someone out there
Skins
is
are
excited
now
about
grouped
this.
by name in the character sheet rather than material, parenthetical, which will reduce the number of groups.
Yeah, so if you have like say a shit ton of the what the fuck is it?
Like if they're grouped by name. Well,
I would almost think that would be well. Okay, so I could see why.
Yeah, so
grouping
if
by
you have
name
like
would be
20
nice.
glacial ship skins, right?
Were they
it will
not
come
all the
under
same
glacial
material?
ship skins. It won't come under every single like type of ship that you have. For example.
Whatever.
This is a small quality life.
Like
Apparently they
all the
put a
blaze
little
skins will
thing
be
in.
one category.
Apparently they put a little thing in that's going to be better for how they're grouped.
Yeah, I was just saying, it's like this is such a quality of life change. We don't even know how much quality it is. Like it's just...
exactly.
I'm
This could be
fairly
super
certain
quality.
they looked at it and they were like, it will technically for most people.
Text that summarizes how many skins you have has been added to the top of the skin panel in the character sheet.
Is it going to be?
This is
like
all sounding very.
Is it
this is
going
all
to be an
sounding
achievement
very
that's
like
linkable?
like serial killer, but
Like
whatever.
hammering it in.
Well, I'm just. Are they going to have like achievements for like number of skins you own and stuff so that you can like link them and brag that you have?
Probably should
would
be.
not. Yeah, would not be a bad idea.
Wouldn't be a bad idea.
That would be an income generator for them.
If you own every skin in the game, they should call you the Skin Man or something.
And as a reward for getting
Silence
these
of the
achievements
Lambs.
for having a bunch of skins, they give you a skin that is like
a skin.
If
for
you see
owning
someone
all-
wearing a certain skin, it's like they have a lot of skins because they have that skin.
They should make them like plugins, right? Or implants where you need like a certain set to get the ultimate one that combines them all.
We're gonna have a fucking Voltron kind
Yeah,
of
they
skin
got.
or something.
All kidding aside, they got to.
No, it wasn't Hannibal Lecter. It was the other guy. What was his name?
Yeah, it was the
Buffalo
other guy.
Bill. There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. You get the Buffalo Bill skin.
You gotta like collect all 5 in order to get the 6th, and those kinds of sales programs work for the collectors, and you get people to.
No, because that's bullshit. Because the 6
We have
will always be
fucking
the
Pokemon
apostle.
skins.
It puts the straunt in the fuel bay.
Anyways, let's hear. And then there's some stuff down in other whatever.
The first one's a good one.
Jump, activate gate hotkey now works for wormholes.
No,
Okay,
don't
yeah,
skip
that
the
was-
first one.
That was the one I did.
Don't what? Don't skip the first. Estimated price column has been added to the compare tool.
Yes.
Made you hard, Matterall?
Yes, because when you're looking at X types or A types or whatever, you want to like see like what the differences are, but you'll never know the differences in price. You have to keep going back to look at that. But if they bring that into you, then you can do that all in the same window frame. You'll be a lot faster.
Yeah, that's pretty nice.
The
that
message
is true.
telling you the message telling you are not in fleet when you activate a fleet shortcut is no longer modal and should be less disruptive now. Motherfucker, you ain't in a fleet.
I mean,
See, that's where it should be. It should be an audible command or an audible voice that tells you that. Bitch, you ain't in a fleet.
Or just
Or
like, damn, are you high?
dude,
Like
they
the
should-
idea of something from the monitor coming out and hitting you in the head.
Well, I mean, if they made like a
I
sassy
want to
aura,
punch you over TCP/IP.
like a sassy aura voice pack, that would be a
She's already sassy.
yeah. but
There's some
like-
criticism that she
I
was
think
a
that
little
would have
too
made.
sassy.
I think that sort of thing would have made like the last couple of weeks sort of fly by a lot better.
Hey, hold on. This is kind of buried a little deep, and this may have meaning for a certain group of people out there. A shortcut has been added to allow for collapsing all the windows. It can be found under Escape Windows, Toggle Collapse All Windows. This is functionality that used to be bound to the Tab key.
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought tab was that, but
I do tend to prefer Control F9 though.
well, I think it's
They'd
different.
be doing
Tab
that sort of thing.
doesn't get rid of.
Well,
the...
wouldn't that have been?
No. Control F9 is like
Oh.
cinematic, like screenshot mode, whereas tab it just closes, kind of minimizes all your windows.
A
out.
shortcut has
It
been
keeps
added
it-
to allow for collapsing all the windows. Now, once you collapse all the windows, all you have is the
Drain
view
check
out
tab.
of this out into space, right? Did Control F9 do
I'll-
exactly that
I'll
before?
say yes.
Did it
No,
just-
no.
did it
Control
just take
F9
the
did
chat
way more than that.
windows?
You missed whimsical.
It
on
was.
there.
It was like the
Oh.
the minimizing all windows or collapses all windows. Like it gives you a fairly clean kind of view of Eve, but you still have all the regular HUD kind of stuff. The kind of the HUD stuff that isn't in Windows, and obviously your shield armor hull. and all that
Zara
kind
Boris
of
says,
stuff.
Dirk McGurk, no, you also have the bars for each window.
Yeah, and the bars.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think if you double click the top of the bar of any window, it kind of scrolls up, right?
Well,
Get out of your way.
So is
Yeah,
this the,
it minimizes up.
this just collapses, or this gets them all off your screen completely?
No, it just collapses them. It doesn't get them all.
Okay.
off
You have
the
a bunch
screen.
of bars on your window, but you can see through them. I think. I
No,
don't
it's
know.
not about seeing through them.
No,
Not through
they
them,
won't
but
be
you can see
there
where they
to,
were
like,
because they're gone.
you can see through where they used to be.
But you have
because they're
all the
not there
tops of each window out. So if you have 5 windows out, you'll see 5 little bars across them.
Anyways,
This is
There's a
a
bunch of-
lot of
there's a bunch of little
explaining for
things-
something that is really easy to sort of show by just a picture, which is kind of strange.
Dude, if we had a freaking guy on the show that can, like, could have thrown this up on the screen at the time and been
No,
like, here, watch
I was
this.
I was thinking they could have
totally
very
would've, like,
easily just
given
gone.
Matterall some money.
They could have just very easily done
Possibly.
on the fucking forum post, just like, here is a link to what we're talking about.
So, Whimsical
all the time.
donated 1234, Drayden. I don't know if you
Oh,
caught that.
I missed that.
12:34.
You were.
Damn.
You were. Oh shit. Thanks.
Yeah, yeah,
Damn,
yeah,
bro,
yeah,
come on, hit me with 4321.
Too bad we couldn't inflate them because like the payouts would be really nice. But thanks Wim. When you said like Wim, I thought you meant the chat where he's like F9 closes all. I'm like, oh okay.
It's glad to see my man Wim's back. He's been,
No,
he's been like
whimsical,
freaking MIA, like for a little bit. He had a busy summer, and
He's a big
Yeah.
sponsor of Talking in Stations too. Good guy.
yeah, if we had a Patreon, if I had like shirtless pictures and shit like that, and we had a Patreon and whatnot, like,
Totally.
We could do the open
Wim to
comms-
be here.
The open comms calendar. I mean,
Yeah, forget it. Anyways,
That
there's a
would be
bunch of-
hilarious.
There's a bunch of shit out there in the little things. I encourage you to go and take a look at that. This is obviously not the kind of thing that Grath is super chimed about. Like I thought he would have been. I thought there would have been something in here that like really kind of
I
ramped him
told
up.
you, literally the thing I asked for is in there. That's the best. I don't give a shit about anything else. I finally got something I asked for in this fucking game. It only took 12 years.
You
That's
made
okay.
your mark.
Yeah.
Can you re-enunciate it for like
It's
all of
it's
us?
it's for the
The
telling
total
you how many
skin
skins
counter,
are.
like in that thread, that little
Yeah.
things thread she's got on
Let
the
me
forums,
fucking
you can
win.
find my post in there asking specifically for that counter, and they gave it to me. That was pretty good.
God bless you.
Fucking, she's my 4'5" hero. I love it.
is she that
It
short?
gets picked up.
She
by
may
the
be
wind.
4.5. She may be 4'5" like high, but damn, she does a lot of fucking awesome changes.
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah.
There's a video of her actually getting lifted off the ground by
The wind, right?
and floating.
You put
I-
you put a heavy enough trash bag on her back and tie a rope around her fucking waist, and you got yourself a nice kite in an Icelandic winter.
Yeah, I mean, I've stood next to her. I just didn't know. Like, it's hard for me to judge like what actual heights are because.
We're not going to height shame people here on this
No,
show.
I'm not. I'm not height
This
shaming.
show
It's-
has been trying to hold together the fact that we shame no one.
No, I'm not shaming. I'm just saying like I always think people are taller than they are because like everyone's short to me. So like someone come up, I'm like, oh, they're probably like 5'3" and they're like 4'6". I'm like,
Yeah. Well, you tower over people.
I know it's.
However, there was
life.
another, and by the way, all that stuff that we talked about on the whole little things thing, including Little Carker, is hitting Singularity, I think, soon, and is expected to come out in the September release, which will be later in the month.
Well, right. Are you going to go into the other?
Did I tell you guys that, like, technically in Eve time, it's my birthday? Right now.
Oh shoot!
I totally forgot about my own fucking birthday because my
What?
week has been that
Today
fucked
or
up.
tomorrow?
Anyways,
Did you have?
They
the-
were
It's
we're
technically
having some
Saturday
pretty
in the United
violent
States of,
thunderstorms in the
colorful
Northland
America.
tonight, so if I go away, it's not my fault.
Oh,
Well,
Mother Nature's angry.
technically, your real life name isn't Dirk McGurk, so yeah,
I've got
your
like
birthday
two
is
hours and
now.
2 hours and 18 minutes until
so
my
you
legit
have
birthday.
the same birthday. You have the same birthday as Lady Scarlet.
You know what? I think I knew that. I also have the same birthday as when the Korean airliner got shot down and when Poland was invaded. So it's like
Oh my god!
there's like good and bad, there's like good and bad in all these things. So
It's like generally a bad day in the history of the world. That we're going with.
you know.
Yeah.
All those
Bad
other
day in the
things-
history
all
of the
those
world.
other
I
things
think-
might
I
be
think-
gets shot
disasters.
down, Poland gets invaded, and Lady Scarlet and Dirk McGurk were born.
We're born. Yeah.
But there was another thing this week that actually, I don't know if I want to call this a little thing. In a way, it's kind of a little thing in the grand scheme of all things, but it was big enough that it wasn't in the little things thing and got its own thing. And that is the fact that Do you know how hard that was to say?
Yeah.
I literally couldn't say that right now again if I fucking tried. But that is the fact that coming to Sissy, and also hopefully with the September release, will be the fact that you can just like fly up to any Citadel out there, or any Upwell structure, and apparently deposit cargo into your own personal hangar.
That's fucking weird and lame.
I think it's strange. I think it's like a change to fix an edge case issue that will like basically be abused by a whole bunch of people.
What's the education?
I think the edge case thing is people like Matterall who end up accidentally jumping to the wrong or to a Fortizar that they suddenly can't seem to dock into.
Well, I think
Well, I would assume if you don't have docking rights, you don't have rights to access.
No, you do. You do have rights to access. Even if you don't have access, or don't even have the ability to get tethered, like you can still put stuff in there.
Right.
You want to go into why?
Well, hold on a second. Before we go too deep into like kind of the Matterall psyche and like all those things, let's just explain a little bit about what this means, right? That basically, no matter what the Upwell structure is, or who owns it, or whether or not you'll die, whether you land on it or not, or anything like that, right? You will still be able to right-click on it and deposit stuff into your personal hangar. You can't take anything out, but you can deposit stuff into it. As long as you're within what would have been tether range, okay, you will be able to deposit stuff into a personal hangar. It does not mean that you will ever be able to get it out. Yeah. Well, it doesn't mean that you will ever be able to get it out or anything like that.
What's it for? What do you think? You're going to fucking sprout up some random group of black road truckers that are going to pick up your shit in Jita and go streaking out into the woods with it to drop it off at your Fortizar in tether range?
What they're saying is to combat is courier contract scams where people will make a courier contract to...
You're still not taking it? I am not driving 7 jumps deep into fucking Delve to drop off your goddamn courier contract that you scam me out of taking. Like, I can see it for Empire, but is this really a thing
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, where the destination would be a Citadel that you can't dock into, and now you've just accepted a contract you can't deliver, and now you're going to get hit with the collateral.
Warning levels killed the fucking world. We should just let it happen.
But I think it's going to help. It's going to help moon miners, right?
It'll help everybody.
It's meant to help.
Helping Rorqual miners and shit like that, okay, is literally the last thing this should have been used to help for. Like,
it's an unintended
if you're mining off of, I believe it's an Athenor, okay, that you can't dock up with in your Rorqual, this should have not been the first priority in their mind. It should have just been kind of and it will help them too. Because we don't need to help them so much.
Well, what I think would have solved this better is, because this seems stupid, because like you're gonna change a massive game mechanic for that little instance. It's like, first of all, if you're gonna take a courier contract, you should make sure that you have access to the destination that it's gonna go to first. But what I would like to see is maybe if you could like show info on a destination like a Citadel or something, maybe it should show if you actually have docking rights to that in the show info screen. Well, then,
you can see what structures you can like.
Then you should know better.
This is totally not needed. 100%. It doesn't have anything to do. Like if a courier, realistically, if a courier. Yeah. Okay. Well, fucking.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Don't throw him at me.
No. I'm not throwing him at you. I'm asking you to kind of answer the whole thing about. Well, hold on. When I look at something and it says I can dock, and then I jump to it, and all of a sudden I can't.
Yeah, it's a bait Citadel. It's a mechanic.
At least Matterall would have been able to deliver into his personal hangar the thing that he brought while saying, "Hey, I'm friends with Matani," and then his jump freighter still would have died.
Why are we squashing emergent mechanics? This is a system that players all on their own came up with to fuck other players over. Why are we going out of our way to squash that kind of innovation?
Save the product, bro.
As Sergeant Major Grim Reaper says, isn't this the same as pauses? The way pauses work?
You can't, it'd be badass. So if you could, cruise...
Not really, because you'd never be able to get into the...
You can't deliver anything
to your cargo can would just drift inside the shields. You could, dive bomb cargo drop shit. That'd be all right.
Then I'd be
fucking kicking microorganisms into...
It'd be fucking hilarious to see that cat just go into and then all the way through and then out the other side.
A few quick points about what to expect. You do not need to have access to dock or tether on a structure in order to use Upwell Cargo Deposit. They need a new name for that. Okay. They should just call it direct deposit. No, but it wouldn't be direct deposit because that would be like never mind. Anyways, that would be asset safety. Anyways, beware that if you place items into a structure that you do not have permission to dock in, you may need to use asset safety to retrieve them. You will not be able to use the cargo deposit system while you have an active weapons timer or criminal timer or while cloaked. The cargo deposit range on Upwell structures is 10 kilometers, just like tethering, although remember that you can use cargo deposit even if you do not have permission to tether. Upwell cargo deposit may only be used to place items into a structure, not to take them out. The service will automatically be available on all Upwell structures in all areas of space, coming to you soon.
But I would love to see how you can get a weapons timer in a Nomad.
I think you in wormhole space, I guess, if you have an Astra house, it starts to perform more like a pause used to. I would think that's part of the reasoning. And it does solve a problem for them with these scams. You know, they probably could have figured out a different way, but it would have taken longer or whatever. But this might have been.
It adds a whole bunch of like extra advantages that are like, I think, pretty.
What advantages does it add?
One of the things, like, say there's a fight on a Citadel, and you have all these like Titans and Capitals, and they have all this like expensive shit in their cargo. They're like, oh, I'm about to die. Deposit everything in the Citadel. Okay, now I died. They want
fucking yellow fuck. Why is that a good thing?
Wait until he gets through the bad.
I'm not saying. I'm saying that's an advantage that this is giving. That it shouldn't be there because of that.
Yeah, it shouldn't be there. Like for example, if you have someone in a super that's basically being, you know, a bit of a fucking, you know, a bit of a crazy motherfucker and trying to like just, you know, haze things with fighters and stuff. You go and you drop on him with a bunch of dreads to kill him because he's got a weapons timer and he can't dock. Well, you know, he's gonna throw all of his shiny stuff into in there before he dies.
Well,
so
if he has a
really
weapons timer,
terrible kill mail anyway.
You can't access to be a weapons timer either.
You know, but let's. Can we look at this from other parts of space? Forget about null-sec right now, just for a moment, okay? How does this work in low-sec? How does it work in high-sec, right? Like, there may be places in high-sec that want to be able to get, like, deliveries from the postman, but they got guns aimed out the window and whatnot because they're, like, off in some, like, you know, redneck part of freaking null-sec, or high-sec or whatever. All right, it's like...
Some backwater low-sec.
Yeah. It's like, don't come on my property. Well, then shit, I ain't making a delivery, bitch. Okay, no, I need the delivery. Just, like, step up to the door and, like, poke it through the fucking hole. All right, like, is this something that because they have to do it in places like high sec where some of this shit is locked down and therefore you get crazy scams and therefore can't deliver courier contracts to these things that that they had to fix there and therefore there's a knock-on effect of what happens out in null-sec or elsewhere because of this?
No, I'm not buying it.
My best advice, like, honestly, it's like, I've never accepted a courier contract in this game once that was from a random person I didn't know. It's like, I don't do public courier contracts because the risk of getting scammed on is just way too high. You just don't take them.
I don't know. Yeah. No, well, I mean, some people do make money doing it, but those people aren't the dumb ones. This could not possibly have been for those.
And isn't
those people have been doing it for money, so they're smart enough to check.
Take if you're too dumb to just like click on take courier contract. Let's find out where it is.
It's always for peanuts. I've looked at it because I thought I was like, well, maybe I get a freaking Providence and just go rent some like. And I looked at the money. It's like, wait, this is like 15, 20 jumps. I'm gonna make 5 million. You know how long this is going to take in a freighter to make 5 million?
Reports at work.
It's like I could take a frigate and go kill like high-sec belt rats and get more money in the same amount of time. It's like there's no money in courier contracts.
By the way, just so people know where this came from, just so they don't think that it just came from like, you know, this came from a focus group. The initial seed of this concept was planted The initial seed of this concept was planted a few years back when we were working on adding contracts to Upwell. Number one, when Fozzie is saying, this came around a few years back, when you guys remember back when we were talking about Upwell structures? Okay, anyways, when we were working on adding contracts to Upwell structures and enlisted the aid of a focus group to help us improve this feature. One of the suggestions put forward by the courier contract experts was to allow items to be placed in the structures even if you can't dock.
Well, when fucking Skynet finally goes online, we know who to fucking send the first Terminator after.
Well,
that whole fucking focus group.
Well, there's an issue there because no one will claim that they're going to, like, if that situation occurs, no one's going to claim that they were in that focus group. And I very much doubt that there's going to be a list of who's
we
going to be who was in that focus group at a particular point. Even so, like is focus groups becoming the Eve version of fucking saying, oh, we put out an online poll and it came out, and it came back like this. Like,
I think focus groups are great. I mean, you get people who know certain mechanics inside and out. You put them together. They're never going to agree with one another, but if you pick all their brains, you might get something good.
I don't know if you get them all in
they listen to
in the right Discord group.
Who they listen to in that focus group have been the Courier Contracts Political Action Committee.
You don't listen to anyone specifically.
Should have been the Courier Contracts fucking lobbyists. Brisk was probably the fucking lobbyist for the Courier Contracts people.
Probably.
I doubt that, to be completely honest.
He's totally a fucking lobbyist for shipping. This was him.
Somebody mentioned something.
Teamsters Union.
Yeah, he would know that this was terrible.
Somebody mentioned something on TIS that this was, and Grath probably won't agree with me on this, but this is where I kind of say, yeah, this is not a good idea. It kills more immersion, right? Because you don't have to dock up, and that was part of the immersion, at least for new players, that whole experience. Coming into a station, you're changing your scene, and this it puts you more in the game. Like, Eve needs to be slower, not faster. I know everybody wants to play it
the
fast,
issue there is, like, I do kind of agree with you there, sort of to a degree. Like, certain things need to be slower, certain things need to take time. Like, the cruel FSPs needs to take at least a little bit of time, not like instant. But there are aspects of the game that kind of are improved by allowing it to be done quicker. It's just not this.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what kind of reception. Is this an idea that's being floated, or is this a change that's coming?
I don't know.
Upwell Cargo Deposit.
I think it was a change that's actually coming.
Yeah, it's going to be on CC, so I don't think they're in discussions.
I don't like it.
I've already seen.
It seems like too much of a boon to a bunch of other things that don't need it to solve one problem that's probably not that major of a problem. I mean, it sounds like it's a problem. I mean, because it's kind of like if you're doing a courier contract to a private Citadel, there's no way around. Like, if the person wants to scam you, they can do it. Like, there's no way around it. The second they see that contract accepted, they change the access rights to the Citadel, and they get the collateral payout. But
I don't like
Night Shadow X in chat says it is a problem in the courier mechanic, and the ISK doesn't have to be crazy. Scams can be 200 million collateral for delivering a lump of coal. Change docking access on the fly, and the courier is out 200 million. Unfortunately, the null ramifications being discussed will also become an issue. Now, hold on a second. Hold on a second, because this is one of the things. Okay, like. Fuck, Big Country was alive back in the fucking day when they used to play, like, courier contract fucking
Daniel,
bingo or whatever the hell it was.
Would do that.
Okay, they would grab a courier contract, they would pop it open, they would see if it was worth more than what the collateral and all that kind of shit, right? And then, like, one time he got a carbon and him and I took 3 wormholes and, like, went all the way across the fucking universe to make sure we delivered it because he was playing a fucking game. Okay, like, there's a whole bunch of stuff regarding courier contracts that are fair and unfair and unfair on, like, different levels. I'm not sure this is it though.
Well, and real quick, I did see this in chat. It was way back when we first started talking about this, and this would be a simple fix too. Instead of allowing people to deposit anything and everything into the stations, only allow you to deposit the plastic wrap bins into the stations this way, and that's it.
Why not be, if you accept the courier contract, you automatically have ability to dock?
Well, I'm just saying, like, that fixes the courier contract scams, because then you're guaranteed you're going to be able to deliver a courier contract even if you don't have access to the station, but it doesn't allow everyone else to, like, deposit stuff without having to dock up.
Well,
because this does go beyond courier contracts.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Matt, I'm not meaning to cut you off. This does go beyond courier contracts. It goes out there with a bunch of fucking titans sitting outside a Fortizar or an Astrahus or a Rorqual sitting outside of an Athanor or whatever, right? Like, this is not just about courier contracts. This is about any ship too large to dock in that particular structure but still wants to drop shit off, which would come into the whole mining aspect of things probably more than anything else.
I think it makes structures, it gives them a dimension that Pause has had, which were interesting because they were different in that way, but now it feels like you can access them like pauses.
Do not deliver courier contracts to pauses at all. It
No,
has
no.
nothing to do with pauses.
Not
They weren't
couriers,
even
but
a
they
viable
behave
address.
now. But they behave now like pauses did, in that you could deposit to them without docking, because you couldn't dock in a pause.
This needs to be
You
more
couldn't
nuanced.
deposit anything in a pause either. Like you couldn't access the fleet hangar or the goddamn corp hangar or anything else like that if you don't have rights. Like all that shit was off
Oh, you're
limits.
right.
I don't know why they would fucking like. This is just so insane. It's just like this completely random thing. Instead of doing what they should have done, which is taking like item safety away from like 0-0 and like maybe even low sec, they fucking made it worse. They do it every time. They're like, hey, we should go 2 degrees to the left. What?
Like,
let's go 8 degrees to the right. Fuck it. Iceberg right ahead. I don't understand.
Fuck it, full steam.
I don't.
You know.
There's no reason for it at all. It's the weirdest thing in the entire world, and it basically is just almost entirely put in place to cancel out player innovation.
What if
a player-made game mechanic basically got killed?
What if you could courier contract a doomsday or a bomb?
Well,
no, it's still dumb. It's not gonna kill anybody.
and then like, well, fuck it. I'm just like rolling up here, and I'm just gonna like put it through the mail hole.
The Unabomber. Just like
I think that would be
Unabomber.
hilarious.
Like if Dust 5.14 was a computer game that we could fight each other on, like inside stations, and you could like send somebody a dirty bomb before your match or something, that'd be cool. But no,
it could be like what Daniel and BC were doing in the Bass. Like they open up the package, like boom, you got potted.
Oh, Dirk, I know what you were saying now with the graph, and that is the idea of like, hey, I picked up a contract. Why can't I deliver it? This is kind of This is kind of silly. Like you can't deliver the contract.
yeah, but fuck that guy.
Yeah, but
It's a learning mark.
Matterall's looking at this from the standpoint of but what if I looked at it and then jumped to the sino and then I can't dock like before I could and now I can't and like he's looking at his giant thing from the perspective of a poor courier guy who's not even doing that kind of like he's just going, oh man, I took this contract and then I got there and stuff said,
I was going to pay
you.
for the new cattle with this contract.
But the thing that I think is
learned to check before he accepts the contract.
No,
exactly.
because it happens
No.
that quickly. It literally happens so quickly that even if you jump, they can change it. Imagine, that courier contract has been changed. Now let me reset standings. And
It's an erosion to the trust. Hold on a second. It's an erosion to the trust of currying anything, because you'll never know if you'll be able to deliver it because it gets cut off. Now, nobody would take stuff to stations.
No, they would only take into sanctuary Keepstars.
Was there ever a situation? Was there ever a situation, Matt? Was there ever a situation where, like during that courier contract and all that kind of thing, was there ever a situation, when you were doing that you thought, this is a little bit too good to be true?
It doesn't have to be good to be true. It's
200, like for example, like
it's just not expected behavior, and not that you can't be surprised, but I don't know how much there is to learn from this, right? It's like the only thing you would learn is never deliver to a user station.
Exactly.
But it's the equivalent of.
I just thought about something. If you ever have a freight service or anything like that, where you're like delivering stuff, if you open up your own Red Frog, let's say, that picture behind you needs to be your logo.
Well, hold on.
That kid needs to be your freaking logo.
Karka's in chat. Like, she could actually give us the real idea of, like, hold on, she might have. You guys are all talking about those courier contracts on an individual level, but keep in mind that red for similar reason or similar services won't deliver to upload structures unless they're fully public.
Understandable, completely understandable.
Yeah. Now,
in the same way that if someone put a contract for one Plex that they were going to buy, like on the market for like $1 trillion-isk, but I had to go through like low sec in order to do it, I probably wouldn't do it for that same reason. Like it's the contract equivalent of like of putting things on contract to buy in like high sec island areas, and then complaining that you tried to fulfill that, but got caught on a gate camp in low sec.
Can we say that this is not entirely a bad idea, but that there are elements of this that if they were more nuanced in how they carried it out, they would be able to fix those underlying problems without opening it up to all of the other things as well.
That's the skill.
Well,
That is the skill.
Again, this is why you should, when Sanctuary Keepstars appear in your neighborhood, it's like a postal box. You can always depend on them. People will deliver there because they'll never be locked out. Everything else you can't trust.
I mean, it's like sometimes you have to learn the hard way. I mean, I found out about the.
But there's nothing to learn. There's nothing to learn.
Well, you learn you don't deliver to private citadels.
And then you diminish the whole direction of what we're trying to do, which is get players into citadels, not out of them.
Well,
but you do realize that while you're sort of saying that this is a good change, Matt Rule, like it is actually basically negatively affecting your idea of Sanctuary Keepstars and your business model there. So you're actively working against yourself in a marketing kind of strategy.
It's not the first time. Yeah, and that's a good point that Karker makes right there. Not everybody belongs to alliances. Again, another reason that Sanctuary Keepstar is going up, so people can use them without having to belong to an alliance. But
look.
I know.
There have always been things that you couldn't deliver to stations. This is not just an issue, with these new structures. And I'm sorry, Kirker, if you just showed up now after we did a shot for you a little while ago with the whole little things thing.
Yes, congratulated you on your work.
Little things thing.
It's always like whenever I see a little things post, it's like it always brightens my day.
But that being said, Upwell Cargo Deposit.
I just personally, I think
it does need
this,
a new name though, right?
Personally, I do. Personally, I feel like this is just this Upwell
Dropbox
cargo thing. Dropbox is just like it's like an erosion to common sense. Personally.
Yeah,
like that's how I feel about it. Anyway.
This episode needs more grass here.
No,
it does.
I don't
really
feel
does.
like it does. Like you all agree, you're all saying, except for maybe Matt, are all pretty much agreeing with me. Like it's just a senseless, wasted change. This is this is an area where a warning label is actually hindering the player, because you should do this. This should be an experience. You should pick up a contract that you can't deliver, so that you figure out where you fucked up and never do that again. Especially if you want to be a contract delivery person, it's just absurd. Like, just figure it the fuck out.
It's like denying teaching
Graf,
people that the world is full of assholes.
But Graf, how do you learn from that mistake? What's the lesson to be learned?
I don't know. Start looking around for that guy's contracts. Find other people that have be socially outgoing enough to check around. Like most of these truck drivers congregate in channels and shit like that. Every type of community has a certain congregation of channels. There's forum posts. There's all kinds of shit. You do some fucking
Breaker 19, can I jump in?
Yeah. The
Go ahead,
Haulers
Breaker.
channel.
You can jump in.
There's a Haulers channel.
No smokies in sight. Yeah. Oh shit, I jumped in. There's a goddamn smoky. Oh shit, he's shooting me.
Totally.
It's exactly how it works.
I'm gonna do Smokey and the Bandit.
Matterall knew that's exactly how it worked. However, CCP Karker said out there, also, I'm not 4'5".
Oh.
So there you go, Grass. She's not 4'5".
We love you regardless of your size.
Did we just lose somebody, or did we just shift, or?
No, he's back.
Oh, and now you shifted down to a different thing.
That's a wink online.
Yeah, you're
not on my screen. Which
is
amazing.
To me, you're bottom right
just,
now, whereas you're top left.
Something.
Oh no!
No, not on screen.
No, we sure yet?
No, everyone's in the same spot on my side, so that's good.
All right, cool.
Yeah, because he's not running through Zoom,
thing.
he's running through himself. He's running local cam rather than through Zoom.
But yeah, so shit, I poured this shot. I had a fucking shot ready for a goddamn reason.
I've got a shot ready. See?
Probably for Karker, no?
It was not because she's only not 4'5".
It's for your birthday?
Something came up. No, I'm not doing a shot for my own fucking birthday. I agree about
I was looking on at things
I apparently
that
just
happened
poured
in
a shot,
September.
but whatever.
1st.
I'm not gonna fucking do it unless I can remember how it works.
That's good. Good principles.
Exactly. You know what I mean? It's like, don't do a shot you can't remember what it was for.
Yeah, it's not right.
Dirk rule number
16.
492.
Should we start a list of Dirk
remember.
rules?
You know what? We should have done
I feel
that
like
long fucking
somehow
time ago
have
because I
the
could have broke
button
them all.
to mute my microphone or to deactivate my microphone keybound, and I don't know what the key combination I keep hitting to do it is.
Oh, you gotta.
However, I do want to have a public service announcement while I do this shot that I don't know what it was for, because I'm just going to do it. I'm going to sit back. I'm just going to throw the question out there. Grath, since you're here, I'd like you to comment about some of the rumors that are out there regarding changes that are happening in the Legion de Pandemique.
You'd like me to comment on it? All right. Well, we've had corpse
I would
leave
like
before.
you to give your viewpoints so that you get your voice out there and not just let Reddit and the other people out there that want to talk about this shit be the ones talking about it.
I don't really give a fuck what they say. I mean, honestly. Okay, so Peanut hasn't wanted to run a corp for a really long time. You'll notice that largely Elise doesn't fuck with Habit like that anymore. Like, I stepped down from being CEO of SNIG. Peanut wanted to step down from being CEO of Israd, but Israd thinks everything is rad except for paperwork, so none of them wanted to step up and be CEO. So for him, it was just easier to take the corp and go do what he's doing, which is go hang out in low-sec. Just fuck off and relax. It's like they just don't want to live that life anymore. They're not interested in the direction that 0-0 life is offering in the game right now. Waffles died pretty much the second they joined. And I mean, that's not like a slight to them in any way, shape, or form. I don't know. We never established exactly what it was, but they went from 45 dudes in fleet to 4 dudes in fleet. So Reza made the decision that they were better off as they were before. Neither corp left in any way, shape, or form on bad terms. So it's really weird that like Reddit wants to make a big deal of it, because like not a word was said when like we've removed several corps before at a time, and we've had corps leave in groups before at a time, but it wasn't like a big deal. Obviously, all of our services are still up. The Alliance ticker is still active. There were about 30 pings for fleets today alone. I would just assume that those are not the signs of a doomed, dying Alliance. We have made changes before, and pretty much Reddit's dumb, but everybody else already knew that. They just want to make a...
Oh, you did it again.
He did the key combination.
Whatever you just pushed, that's the key.
Waffles just told him to shut the fuck up.
There, is it back?
It's back.
Yeah.
It's back.
I didn't push anything. I didn't push shit.
It's set on a timer. It's just like
Yeah.
there's a macro set to mute you every like 5 minutes or something.
Grath, is there any truth to the rumor that
that
the
guy
dinner
Robert
that
Katchik
PL
is
had
dumb.
scheduled
That literally
for
had
Vegas
nothing
is
to
no
do
longer
with
going to be
it. Peanut has
completely
wanted
full?
to shut his corp down for over a year, like well over a fucking year. Like you're like, oh,
There it goes again.
He did it again.
They're
They're hitting you, man. They're hitting you. This is penis smash fucking like dropping in on you.
Oh, shit.
All right, and
This really was meant to be kind of a short thing, but like, you know.
well,
He's making it a bit too short.
Just swap it to voice
Grass
activation. That's
technical
all right. We'll listen to you.
issues are,
We'll listen to you breathe. It'll be fine.
Oh my God, Matterall, I look at that picture behind you, and I just can't help but think of that night you lost that jump freighter. That was fucking you, bro.
Like,
But like,
why is that
honestly,
your
if somebody
workspace?
can like find, because I know that is like a legitimate piece of artwork
I
out
hate
there. If
this.
somebody can find it and they can put across the top. But I know the Matani.
I think
That was Jump Freighter night.
I think that's a take on Banksy's artwork, so it's out there somewhere. Oh, I'm a depressing person.
I feel like
me
Graf
all the
came
time.
back
this is
and
so
then left
fucking
again.
gay. I hate
There you
this.
are.
I hate TeamSpeak.
What are you
period.
doing?
I'm not
No,
doing
no,
anything
no,
but talking.
you
I'm
do
just
not
talking
blame
and it
this for
happens.
one fucking
I'm literally
moment on
not
TeamSpeak.
moving. I'm pushing one fucking button.
Do not blame it at all on fucking TeamSpeak.
I'm
TeamSpeak's
pushing
clean.
one button continuously. It keeps happening in the middle of everything. It's like my microphone just deactivates, and I don't use this program for anything but the show, and this is the only place this happens.
Is the attachment to your microphone and your computer isn't like almost out, is it?
Nope. I fucking ran my hand all the way down the wire, checked the USB port, like it's all fine. It doesn't happen on Discord, and it doesn't happen on goddamn Mumble, so I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Graf, I'm going to ask you
German
in all
engineering.
seriousness, not because I believe that
Is
any
Doom's
of
Corp
this...
leaving? Yeah, were Supers jumping out of fucking the place where you guys had in Bubble Camp too? Is that like a thing you all still actively believe, or are you just gonna go ahead and listen to all the shit Doom feeds you?
No.
No.
I'm legitimately going to transition this into something other than the PL failscade bullshit. That some people would like to
Services are
see.
paid up
Number
till late
one.
January.
I for one never like to see when an organization out there of any size or any consequence in Eve, ever has a failscade, right? Because I think it's bad for all of us across the game, enemy or not, right? Like you don't want all of your enemies to go away. You don't want all the people that you would be shooting at to like go away because they went through rougher times than you did or something like that. So I don't buy into this whole freaking thing of, oh, this is really fucking funny and really fucking cool. Okay, like I recognize that changes happen in organizations out there and propaganda gets put up, but I want to actually transition this into something else. that is more.
Do you really want to know who the people that want alliances to go away are? Those are the dumb people that should be castrated chemically so that they can't breed. Because they, like anybody that says, "Oh, I want to go kill goons," on our side, we've historically beat that person to death with fucking the truth, which is they exist outside of this game. You're not going to kill an alliance that exists outside of this game. You're not going to fucking make test dissolve and not be a thing anymore. Like, it's just not real.
Right.
Like those kind of people. Like, I feel like your license to have a child should be taken away.
However, as the sensible human being that I am, I want to transition this actually into a conversation about kind of the state of EVE and whether or not in places like null-sec, okay, because one of the reasons that he stated for kind of wanting to get out of the biz, right, was sort of kind of the state of where things are. Have changes in the last few years gone too far and kind of causing the overall dynamic in null-sec to shift too much in favor of the empire builder versus kind of the more nomadic lifestyle?
Nope, I don't care. Like, that part, I don't think bothers anybody. It's just whether or not. So the nice thing about the alliance that, like, I helped make.
You got cat.
It's like when I was listening to fucking the news last night, and I'm like, I looked at my wife and I go, "Why does it keep cutting out?" She's like, "I don't know." I'm like, I just turned my head over and went back to sleep or whatever. I just can't do that now.
We should play like commercial interludes, though.
I think Grath just wants to be able to like really punch TeamSpeak without actually damaging any of the rest of his computer.
Matter all this is part of a
so crazy. It just won't. It's the weirdest shit I've ever seen. Like, I want to host your thing on just outright Discord instead.
Dude, I swear to God. We'll host this shit. We'll literally
fine.
host this shit anyway.
I'll just remember to keep looking over and pushing the button every 10 minutes.
We can move it to Discord.
It's fine.
Is your finger getting weaker and you can't push the talk as strong as
No,
you used to?
My finger is so incredibly weak that it disables my microphone.
Maybe you're pushing too hard.
And I don't think it's gone too far in one direction or another. I think that the game's changed and the alliance is in the middle of changing. The people that want to change to be a part of what's required to operate in 0-0 will stay. Those that don't won't, and there won't be. Like, I think that's what makes people mad. It's like there's not any drama. Like, Peanut doesn't hate us. Reza doesn't hate us. Nobody's fucking mad at each other. We just decided we're gonna do different stuff. Whereas when the rest of you fucking emotional 17-year-old girls fucking have somebody leave, there's shit that explodes all over the fucking wall like a bunch of monkeys throwing poop at a zoo.
People do this, like, Corp leaves, just start tossing their clothes out the window into the lawn.
Right.
And shit. Yeah.
Nobody exactly. Like, everybody's like shit talks everybody on the way out the door. We're just gonna go different directions, and like, it's what the alliance will do to stay active in the coming years. Like, they'll make the alterations they need to make. And I was legitimately transitioning over there into asking not about what people want to like flame out there or anything like that. It was more about changes that have happened in the last couple of years have absolutely kind of taken away too much from, my opinion, taken away too much from what I'll call kind of the nomad groups or those interested in focusing on combat rather than empire building. Has it pushed everybody into saying, if you don't focus on top to bottom kind of supply chain management, you can't compete at the same level? Take out numbers that are in that equation, but just think about it from a play style kind of perspective. For sure, but that's always been the thing. There's always been a specific area of the game you needed to focus your energies on to become a dominant force in 0-0. And to CCP's credit, they move it around from time to time to try and keep the game fresh for people. They've moved it again, and the people that can pick it up and keep up with the change will keep going. The people that can't will find other shit to do. That's just it. Like, I don't find fleet fights fun at all anymore, right? Like, that's just not... It's just too much. I mean, I might want to come play EVE for like an hour or two. I got better shit to do with 19 hours in my day. Like, you guys are fun, but you're not that much fun to hang out with. I want to go outside, smell some air, sniff a flower, shit like that. And so, like, I just dick around in wormholes and low-sec and pretty much small gang and solo. Like I said, the people that want to keep going in this direction with the game will do it. And whatever that is, has always been something you just, like, focus on it. Whether it be, POS logistics for way back in the day when they used to have like POS sob and shit like that. If you were just good at that, you could hold tons of fucking space because it sucked to knock over towers and it sucked to keep up a ton of towers. Then they changed it to something else. Then they changed it again. Now they've changed it another time. It's fine.
It would be really interesting to look back on the SOV changes away from towering everything to Dominion, and look back and see how many guys left because they're like, yeah, this game is not for me anymore because I used to really like putting up the towers.
Did you literally hear anybody, like honestly, we've been around long enough at this point to remember, was there anybody who sat there and said, fuck it, you know what? If we don't have to tower every moon in a fucking system just to take sovereignty, I'm out of this bitch.
Honestly, if you go into the Evo forums and look around, you'll find anybody like literally willing to drop like 20 or 30 of their fucking accounts because of, you know, some random change that really doesn't affect anything whatsoever.
They didn't have 20, 30 accounts back in those.
No, of course they wouldn't, but they would say that. You know,
but the evolution of changes and how many people fall off because of the changes, it'd be interesting to see who the voiceless losers
you can look back in the history of time, right, and realize when they made that change, the numbers didn't go down; they went up. Okay, so there may have been a whole number of other factors that were involved in there. I don't want to have have anything to do with a conversation of MMOs over correlation and causation or anything that.
MMOs were climbing all the way until about 2013, and then they actually started losing a lot of market share to games that were so big, like Skyrim and Oblivion and the Witcher. They were so big that it satisfied that empty space. I can move around anywhere in this world, you know. But everybody stays in character, which was even better.
But I actually,
I've never finished one of those games.
This is not just a question for Graph.
Oh, really?
I can't finish them. There's nobody to hang out with.
Yeah.
There are no real people to hang out with. That's true.
The new Elder Scrolls is supposedly, or is it the new Elder Scrolls or the new Fallout is supposed to be multiplayer?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. Fallout 76.
Am I going to be able to build my own bunker?
It'd be interesting to see
my
developers keep up with
the. I would think so because Fallout 4 they had the whole base building thing that was like the major focus of that. So I would assume that's going to be in the next Fallout too.
However, my question earlier that I started off with Graph because I thought that it was a reasonable transition from like what a lot of people think are going, is going on because of what PNF, said about kind of the state of EVE and things like that. But also, Matterall, because of the conversation that was going on and Talking in Stations Discord today about like a number of people out there, who were kind of, raising reservations about it. And a lot of it we've heard over the years. We've heard kind of like all these things like, go through different transitions. But I want to ask you guys, I mean, look, you're from NC Dot. McLeod, you're from the initiative. I mean, any of these changes over the last few years that you think that, or the last couple of years, that you think have kind of pigeonholed the null-sec part of space, as well as the tangential effects out there into, or the knock-on effects out there into low-sec, groups like Snuff, that they've focused quite a bit on what I say is, if you don't live in your space and be able to kind of like, farm it to the maximum level capacity, that's not space for you, and you're not for that space. Like, has it pushed a bunch of different play styles into hey, live there, become a sedentary farmer, and then once you get a big enough crowd around you, you can also like create militias that go out and like shoot farmers in fields nearby.
Yeah, but I mean, that is what it is. Like, what are you complaining about? That's the game that is EVE now. You either want to play it or you don't.
So it's all about adapt and overcome.
Yeah, that's it.
EVE has always been about that.
All right, like this is like a thing that's as old as time. Way back in the day, everybody used to be really specialized in their training. You used to buy pilots off the forums that were like pure Amar pilots, pure Galente pilots, and they weren't like rare or anything specially trained. That's just how people fucking train. My first 42 million skill points were entirely in Amar, right? So the very first adaptation you make as a player is to cross-train everything, because as CCP makes gameplay adjustments, the ships in your racial line may get nerfed to fuck. So if you can only fly one, say you've been a Galente pilot, there was like a fucking 6-year stretch in there where that sucked, And so, like,
Oh, yeah, totally.
You trained out of it. Like, you cross-trained into all the other races. You covered as many bases as you could. You adapted to change in the game to keep playing the game. Nothing is different. Everything's the same all the way up the food chain. Right now, you just have to adapt to a new way to live and play in 0-0. That's it.
And that's one of the things that always really confused the fuck out of me when someone said, "Oh yeah, well I haven't trained into Amar or haven't trained into Galente. Oh,
weird.
I'm a pure Caldari pilot." It's like, really? You want to tie your hands that badly? Like,
I got
it's
a
just
buddy who
ridiculous.
flies in Horde who's been a pure Caldari pilot, and he started playing at the same time. He actually started playing a month before I did, and he's still to this day a pure Caldari pilot. Like,
That's
I was like, wow.
awesome. Well, that's awesome.
I mean, I get the roleplay
think
thing, but holy
Caldari
shit.
life.
I think there is an evolution that you're seeing, right? You had these massive, giant juggernaut of the south coming up into the north that really couldn't be stopped because the servers just couldn't handle it with that many numbers and stuff. And now the place is kind of pacified, and all the Keepstar battles have changed into iHub battles, and everything is sino-jammed because they're protecting those systems. So people are evolving. Like it's there is the N+1.
No, sino jamming was always a thing.
Not like it is now. Not
No,
as
that's
important
bullshit.
as it is now.
No. That
It's
is
very
bullshit.
important now.
Sino jamming was always a thing. Okay.
It was.
The difference
It was. It
now
definitely
is you
was.
actually
What is
have to go out there and do some work other than just what? Come
Other
through the
than-
fucking gate and go launch out that freaking Sino jammer and that particular system. Like there are other things involved. There are more
I
intricate ways
don't
of
ever
doing it.
remember a place being locked down as broadly as it's locked down right now. Like all of Fade and not Pureblind, but
Because they're under attack. That wouldn't normally be
Yeah.
the way that they Sino jam their systems on any given day, right? Like
Well, it
they're sitting there and
also-
saying, "How
it
do
limits-
we lock all the vault doors? Like, how
It
do we
limits
batten down all the
movements
hatches?"
around
Yeah.
their space for
Well-
defense purposes, right?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
have to be funneled through gates and pipes that way.
But yeah, and the other thing is like you couldn't just launch an attack, and essentially put something into reinforce fairly quickly. You had to basically grind through defensive SBUs in order to even put down your own SBUs, and then they'd have to have an online process, and then you had to go through the whole rigmarole of this, right? So
Graf,
it was
you've
never a thing.
Yeah,
Sorry,
like look
you-
at Robert Catrix. He's like when we attacked
Yeah.
Declan and Pureblind in the Great Fintroll fucking failure, where he decided he got in a VFK class and he was like, "We did it, log off." Just kidding. Yeah, that's when we lost that. But yeah, like goons would regularly Sino jam everything when they were under attack.
I thought about this the other day, and I'm wondering if whether or not what we currently see going on in the Northeast with the Sino jamming of everything and how it slows down the steamroller that is deployed against it, right, is not making Fozzie sit there and say, maybe we need to keep Aegis sovereignty around longer, because guess what? In the face of a steamroller, a juggernaut of Titans and supercarriers and things like that, right, is the only thing stopping its massive forward advancement basically the fact that they've got to go out there and do this other form of warfare.
Yeah, that's
Like-
a careful what you wish for thing,
No,
right?
no,
because
and
that
hold
was
on,
always
and
a
I'm
complaint.
not wishing for it. I'm more thinking
No,
about
people
it from the
wished for it
standpoint of.
before.
I'm more thinking about it from the standpoint of, is he looking at this and saying, hey, look, this is the counter to massive economic development that allows you to throw Titan after Titan after Titan after something if you're not willing to put it through a gate.
Or hordes of fucking super carriers on an iHub like Dominion sub had.
Yeah.
It's just a natural break to the war machine, which is all right. I mean, that said,
It's
if
the
they're
literal
at the
Hoth
point where
gates.
they're like defending via Aegis sub with their Sino jammers and shit like that, I feel like it's just a delaying action. But what do I know? I'm just
we're
old.
gonna have to see what comes out later in the year
Yeah.
with with the other structures that they come out with and how they set those up. But
Well-
but really, if all it is, because the whole idea of Sino jamming an entire constellation, or fuck it, an entire region, in order to keep people from coming through choke points and things like that, that has been around for a long time, right?
It is. I guess maybe it wasn't as focused. I haven't seen it as focused as this. But if it happened when people invaded Goon territory in the past, I don't remember that. But what it's done is it this huge, all these supers kind of collapsed against this wall, right? There's this wall they can't get through, and they kind of fell over towards Oninen, whatever it is.
Hold on, wait.
On Nenin?
Say it to me. Look me in the eye and say it. Say it.
Onenin.
Onenin. Yes.
Onenin?
Onenin.
There's no.
It's not Onenin, but he was close enough there
It's
that I'm going to give you
A-U-R,
a pass.
Onenin.
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 Yeah.
Onenin.
Wait, hold on.
Okay, so,
I'm gonna go have Google Translate pronounce it for me. I'll
Aw.
you guys keep going.
Oh god, this is going to be
Onenin.
bad.
Onenin. Ooh, that sounds right.
Aw.
Onenin. Anyway, yeah. So they came barreling through to wipe out settle old problems and stuff, which led to some diplomacy that saved them, and then we had to remove them, which was super dangerous, which is why we didn't really talk about it very much. And then, just the other night, thanks to Dirk and a courtmate of mine named Desas and January Valentine, we were able to, under the cover of Imperium capital fleet or super capital fleet, smuggle that thing out of there. So Uninen is
After 7 minutes, apparently.
All right, so Google
Well,
Translate says
tense
Ninen.
There were
Ninen.
literally some tense moments. I mean, Matterall was playing reset games with that Keepstar, like that. He wasn't communicating out there to anybody that he knew or anything. At least as far as I know, because he certainly didn't fucking come to me. Like, and I wasn't gonna let it on or anything like that because I knew that he already worked his deal with Asher and I'm sorry, with the Imperium, and that Asher was behind, like, putting out their fleet to make sure that it was safeguarded and stuff like that. So that I don't think it was so much that like Matterall didn't trust, obviously, NC Dot or PanFam or anything like that, but any of these other like crazy ass mofo's that just kind of like show up at the last kind of moment and like try and snatch and grab, right? But he didn't let any of this kind of stuff on, and it wasn't until I saw it right before I went to bed the night before, where he threw some notes out there about what his plan was. And I sat there and said, I don't have fucking time in my night to read this. I'll wake up tomorrow morning and get to it. And I looked at it and I sat there and went, okay, this won't work. But I still need to sleep a little bit. So like, we'll figure this out in a little while.
This is why I have bad karma.
Exactly. Hold on, it's not why I got bad karma. It's why I got some more sleep that day, so I could be up the entire rest of the day.
That's good.
Chatting in side channels with you and with the others and whatnot about how, like, number one, if your bridging titan is in Mila and this shit's going down in under 12 hours, you need to move your shit.
That was our backup plan.
Okay, you need to get
the actual bridging titan was stuck because of all the jammers.
His original bridging titan was up in the north, and it couldn't like begin to move around because of all the systems that were jammed up there. Even his titan that was coming from Mila ran into systems coming from Mila that were inconveniently sino-jammed and whatnot. But like, we as a small group of, and yes, I'm Imperium, and if we had come to shoot it, I would have been there to fucking shoot it. But I'm a friend of yours, like literally one you can actually say. Sure. Don't say I'm a friend of Dirk's, because that'll just get you shot. But like, we worked it out through the day. We were sending sinos out there. We were like, making sure, things were working out, and he was getting around the horn while we were also moving freighters into places that could be sent over there and whatnot. But ultimately, when it all went down, the Imperium showed up the way that they said they would. We didn't, like, break operational security and like alert a bunch of people out there to, oh shit, is something going down with that? Other than the fact that we found out a couple hours before that you had forgotten to fuel your Keepstar 2 days earlier. And it was in low power and could have been shot by any mofo out there, because you probably, 100%. If you didn't get the fuel alert, you wouldn't have got it. It's getting shot alert.
No, I wouldn't have.
So, anyways, you dodged that bullet.
Well, yeah, and I recorded
a
lot of it, which I'll release later, because it's really funny, because there's moments of it of levity and stuff like that. But I think we had a lot of fun that night, that day, that whole day, and the day, and then the operation. I thought that was pretty fun.
For us.
Okay,
I had no idea what was going on.
Yeah, why didn't you?
I had absolutely no idea.
Why didn't you trust McLeod enough to be around?
The only thing that, like, in retrospect, made me kind of think, oh, something's going on, was what Carnera said in fucking production at one point. And I was like, Why would he say something like that
What did he say?
randomly for no reason? I think he just said something along the lines of like,
Oh,
you know, I'm slightly nervous because of my Titan or something like that.
no,
and
my
I was like,
heart's beating like crazy. or
Oh
something.
yeah, something like that. And I was just like, why would he just randomly say that for no reason and then like not look at it and go, oh crap, I said it in the wrong channel and delete it? Like I was just really confused by that. And then
Hold on,
it was like a day later,
to be
and
quite,
then, and it was like, oh, you've moved it. You've moved,
To-
you know.
to be quite
Keep
honest,
something.
I think he was saying he was nervous for the one reason that I think we were all nervous, not because that Goons and the Imperium were going to break their kind of agreement with you.
No,
okay?
I didn't.
But
think
more
that.
along the lines of, what is the Carneros was there, okay, back during some of those crazy ass Sotio PVE things, right? Where people warped in and stole shit. He was around for those things to experience it. And he's sitting there going, there may be an entire Imperium fleet sitting on top of this thing, but it doesn't stop somebody from coming in and stealing shit because you know what? We've seen that before. Okay?
Well, they wouldn't get
So-
away with it, but they could get it destroyed, and that's what because as soon as they pick it up, even before they pick it up, they'd have to get to it. But if they managed to get to it because they could warp right to it, pick it up instantly, they would get killed instantly, and then the whole thing would be gone. And that's what I was worried about.
When that thing went down, we had we had it planned out. We had it planned out when each freighter was going to warp in, so that we didn't result in bumps and things like that. And what ends up happening? Asher brings his shit in. Boom, a whole bunch of stuff around the around the Keepstar and stuff like that.
We have a
And,
dramatic countdown.
we've got a dramatic countdown and things like that. Okay, we've got a freighter out there, and he's like trying to. And then by the end of it, we've got 3 freighters around the Keepstar, the Keepstar case that's like laying out there, and none of them can scoop this shit. It would not scoop.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there thinking, oh my God, everybody's gonna think we're complete freaking retards for not being able to scoop this thing. Do you not know how to right click? Do you even right click, bro?
It's
And it's like, holy shit! Like we had to get Tuzzy on, and Tuzzy's like, it's a bug. Okay, yeah, but you're Tuzzy. How do you get rid of the bug? but how do you get rid of the bug?
Sphere.exe, obviously.
nobody knew. Yeah.
Anyways, what
We
ended up
tried some
happening was
things.
we had Matterall who went and did, what'd you do? You opened the store to try to engage a session change.
Yeah, I changed
we
the
had
session.
somebody log off and be pointed so that they couldn't warp off, but like still logged off and logged back in, still couldn't scoop it. And then we had one that had scooped the contents of the wreck, okay? And the contents of the Keepstar that were out there, some random missiles and shit like that, warped back to a station, docked up, dropped them off, came back, and immediately scooped them up.
Yeah, it was weird.
Carneros
strange.
had the assumption that because somebody shot the Keepstar
Oh yeah.
when
came
they
in and shot
arrived,
it.
that maybe it created a timer that you're unaware of. But the same
was
guy, that scooped up the wreck was the
Yeah.
same guy that, as soon as he warped back, was able to scoop the thing while everybody else is trying to scoop, and can't. So either it happened right at the split second, or Carneros is right that there, or I'm sorry.
You know what? There has been kind of situations where shooting something has resulted in some really odd behavior. Like if anybody can remember with SBUs, when you first placed an SBU, if it came online, and you weren't there, someone else could someone else were able to like scoop it or something like that.
And change it over to their
because
thing.
you'd anchor it and then you'd online it.
Right.
So
yeah, the
you'd be
whole
waiting
anchor
for the anchor to finish, and then but someone could like come along, and once it's anchored, you could online it, and it would online for them, not for you.
The
But you could
Keepstar-
shoot it, and
Okay,
it would stop them from being able to online it. It's weird.
So Matterall had a countdown timer that was literally on the second for when that Keepstar was going to unanchor, right? And even though somebody shot it like 30, 40 seconds before it was set to come out or whatever, okay, and then
was pretty
stopped
funny.
shooting it, it came out on time, okay? Now, maybe there is an aggression timer that was put on that. I mean, but these are things where it's like, seriously, if that's the kind of if that's the kind of hidden knowledge that's involved with these that we've never heard from somebody else out there, that's really fishy.
Yeah,
because in this case,
it's
here,
really
we're
odd.
sitting there fishing around for like 7 minutes and sitting there going, we had everything done right. We had everything there that was ready to scoop it. And because of something that literally nobody knows about, even people who have been heavily involved with picking up, whether it be Keepstars or any other kind of structure under duress or under combat situations, haven't experienced in that same way because something got shot. There's just weird shit
thing.
going on there.
It is a completely weird thing. I would say that like it does sound a little bit like the aggression mechanics on anchoring and then onlining SBUs back in the day. But I've been seeing, and even chat's kind of said like,
you got something there,
Braden seems to have been in a just about to take a shot kind of situation. But I just wanted to say, if we're going to take a shot for anything, that we should at least take a shot for.
People thought I was frozen because I was just sitting here like still, just like with the shot glass. They're like, you look so sad. Just drink.
We should at least take a shot for Matterall for being able to successfully scoop and secure a offlining or unanchoring Keepstar better than MC.
I just want Asher to fly. I want Asher to send a message to Matterall about how he can unanchor under my umbrella. Because honestly, it's like they did give you a fucking level of umbrella there that I don't know how that would have worked out if it was just the four little bitches that you had working with you that day. Like everything would have been really fucking bad.
Things could have gone wrong. It helps to have security on these things, so we'll see. And now it's off to its new location, which
you're moving this one to Milo when the Milo one moves out, right?
Yeah, we're actually just switching places.
And then we'll start this all over again.
Yeah, it's moving to a new location where hopefully it goes down just as well and re-anchors and opens back up, and is helpful to some people in some area. So we shall see. I like the idea of these being city-states, creating a little ecosystem around them. Maybe putting it in places where people just don't go that often and seeing what happens.
Well, I think if there's a Keepstar anywhere, there'll be a place that people start going more often, regardless.
Yeah, like in the middle of Genesis or something like that. Not much goes on out there, and it'd be
if it's private, it's generally like a hub of whoever owns it. If it's Freeport, then people will just congregate there because it's a big, giant Keepstar.
Yeah. It's like an NPC station, but with benefits.
He wants to create his own little coral reef somewhere.
If you build it, they will come.
Yeah. I call it a shipwreck, because that's all these fish start to form under it, and
let me ask this question.
Don't call it a wreck, otherwise people will get ideas, man.
Let me ask this question: wherever you put it, are you going to deny docking rights to anyone?
No, to no one initially, but it's part of a group of these city-state Keepstars. We call it the League of City-State Keepstars, and the League, which is 3 people, it's myself and Fafer and the Pope, Max Singularity, and we may discuss what's it mean to be in league with one another? So is it that your enemies are my enemies and we lock them out of here too, or is it everybody just kind of minds their own business? So we don't know the nature of how across the board we consider these things uniform. But initially, as far as I'm concerned, when this one goes down, it'll be a blank slate for everybody. And then,
you know what you should be able to do, and it comes into my mind now about something that happened the other day, where apparently this may have been a wormhole thing. This was a wormhole takeover story that I read. Okay, about how there was somebody who infiltrated, I don't know, some rando. I don't want to say some rando because they were actually apparently decent sized out in fucking wormholes. They were an infiltrator, and they actually somehow accumulated a bunch of capital ships that they either built in situ or somehow got in because they were part of leadership, whatever. Okay, and therefore began an assault on this system because their shit was already in place. You know what would be really cool is instead of locking out people, you locked out combat ships. You locked out certain classes of ships that could be used against your structure.
Or like changing the locks
And that
or
would be
something.
really big in a fucking wormhole.
Yeah, that's
definitely.
interesting.
You know, to where you can sit there and say, I don't want to lock out all goons, but no, you're not docking your Titans here, or NC Dot. No, you're not docking your, you know, super carrier fleet, or whatever the hell it is.
Interesting.
As far as I know, it's not possible, but
No,
Sorry,
no,
you
it's
can't-
not.
you-
It's
you-
not.
you
It's
can't
not
dock-
because that's why I just thought of it. But like,
put that in
You can't
the,
dock your
put
you
that
can't
in
dock your
little things.
Titan. The Titan docking is closed for maintenance right now.
Yeah, I would say put that in the little things, but I don't know if that's a
I
little
just wanna
things update. That'd be a
communicate.
major update.
I just want to communicate out there to all the people that are wondering. You're not locking out anybody that is averse to your in-game other persona, you know.
these things are totally separate from my personal game politics.
How does that work with
Totally.
Max? Does Max lock out? Does
Yeah,
he
he has
lock
people-
out the northern groups or anything?
No, it's not like that. We're trying to stay away from politics, right? It doesn't have anything to do with.
Everybody tries, but then like they get
Well,
sucked into it. They
You
just
try because you have to,
sucks
right?
you in.
You get extorted. Like if you don't, you get killed, and that's terrible. So you try not to be near them, and they'll leave you alone. That's a big part of it. But even Max will lock people out. Pfeiffer will lock people out because there's a lot of jerks out there, and you know it's not a free port that won't ever be locked, but it's more like NRDS. It's kind of like if you don't violate the spirit of it, you should be fine. And the spirit of it is you know,
Yeah.
attacking it or
I get the
basically
idea of
ruining
locking
its
people out
purpose.
who are. Yeah, I get the idea
Anything
of
that's
locking
ruining
people
its
out.
purpose.
Yeah.
Are you gonna let
Well,
Are you gonna lock Grath out?
Oh, maybe. I haven't decided yet.
I mean, don't lock Grath out unless he like actually. What was the old theory before? Was it like I won't lock you out unless you shoot a structure? Because that was apparently
it was
old
shoot any of
NETC.
the It will shoot any of the structures in the network, right?
It
Because
wasn't.
goons weren't locked out of Onanen because they shot Onanen. They were shooting a different structure. And they
I
got
didn't have
locked out of
anything
the
to do with
group
that.
of them.
That was.
Yeah, I know that because
Yeah.
that was Pfeiffer that was dealing with that. Kind of stuff.
No, it wasn't Pfeiffer. It was
Oh,
okay.
okay.
Kribba.
Oh, okay.
Kribba owned these things, and most of them were in the north. The thing is, you have to go back into the history of the NETC, the New Aiden Trade Company. They had a lot of money after World War B that they hadn't given out still, and they wanted to build something else.
Wait, hold
right?
on. Look, I believe that after your Keepstar was saved the other day, that you have to call it what it was.
What was it?
Fate.
The Matterall broadcast tower?
You have to call the war what it was.
Oh, then we'd go with what the game company called it, which was World War B.
You have,
Graph,
Do you
very
hey,
clever.
remember the commemorative
you have,
Casino
you
War
have to
skit?
It wasn't
bow
Casino
before
War A,
God
it was
legend
Casino
who
War
was
B.
bowed before you
I'd like the
and
thing
call
is,
the war what it was. Because
How weird that there's no Casino War skin, but there's a World War B skin, right?
Well,
How weird.
I don't know what the I honestly even to
How
this
I don't even
day,
know whether that's actually called.
even to this
Matterall,
day I don't
you know,
understand
There-
the,
Keepstar would have never gotten out of there unless the forces of the Casino War were there to help you.
well, I'm
Hey,
just saying like
no,
I don't,
Yeah, exactly.
I don't
Trade
even
guys.
understand the upsetness that that the Imperium had like with it being called World War
Oh,
B. Like
it's a big deal.
I
Yeah.
a
understand
war
it's a big
named
deal. I
after
don't
your
get it.
name.
It's like
Promises made,
At
promises
that
kept.
time, I was in the Imperium and I called it World War B because World War B was catchy. And, like
That's what you should name it.
Casino War sounded boring.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't
was
matter. Matterall has to utter the words.
No, like
Well,
if
after the
Progod-
end of the Casino War,
Progod
I
Don't
want
give him
to
your
only
nick.
thank those people
Is
that
it-
helped me get it out.
Progod
Is this
calls
going
it
to
the
be another
Casino
one of
War.
those like memes on Reddit where it's like
Drayden, the
like
reason
the,
that
like
it
the
was,
sorry.
They killed your jump freighter. Hold a grudge.
the reason it was a big deal. The reason it
Lady
was a big
Scarlet
deal.
has authorized me to say.
Go matter.
The reason it was a big deal was because a lot of the propaganda at the time was saying we're after the bees, we're after Goon Swarm. So you know, CFCers or Imperium guys, we don't care about you. Break off.
We don't
We
need
just-
to rehash.
We just want
We
them.
don't need to rehash the disagreement. We just need you to be able to accept the help that was given to you by way of enunciating the words on stream.
What are you looking for, Dirk? I don't know what the hell.
I would
I
like
call
to
it the
thank
casino.
A middle
losers.
finger.
You can even say the
what
losers
he
of the
wants.
casino war, but you just
Give
have
him
to
one.
use the term that is acceptable.
I don't know what he wants. Yeah. So anyway, the
This is
idea that
another.
it's
another
kind of a
test.
poisonous
Say it.
topic, but
Yeah.
anyway,
I just want to say out there, people, Pro God Legend gave in easier than Matterall did. On
Right.
I
Talking
call it the-
Stations
I-
on Sunday,
I call
Matterall will say the casino war.
I call it the casino
Yay.
war. I've always called it the casino war after my title for it, which was the best title, got thrown out, which was the mercenary wars. Nobody liked that one,
Merc
but
Wars?
to me that was the Merc Wars. To me
That
that
would be better.
was it was the mercenary
That's what
wars.
poor people would call it. Like that's honestly
So
sounds more like ghetto slang.
Really?
When someone says
Yeah,
the
I
mercenary
think that
wars, I
works.
kind of envisage like a war like of mercenaries going against mercenaries, not
Well,
of
the
mercenaries
mercenaries-
going against other people. You know.
Well,
what I
yeah,
mean?
mercenaries ganging up on the Imperium. It was a neat thing. I wrote about it because it was a neat thing. And if you haven't read Iwan Isk versus SMA, that's a neat article that talks about how interesting this war is, or the Merc Wars article too. It goes into you have a very powerful bank attacking an empire, and it sounds like Game of Thrones, right? You have that city that's about bankers.
Iron Bank or
Yeah, the Iron
City.
Bank. Yeah, me
Iron
too,
Bank
but-
of Bravos, yeah.
Bravos.
Bravos.
Yeah, Bravos. Yeah.
Right, Bravos from the Iron. They had the Iron Bank, and it was attacking an empire. That was very, very dramatic. I
Well, we've
love
got in the
Eve.
we've got in the next series the whole what is it, the basically the mercs in Game of Thrones.
Don't know
There's
what
like
they're
there's
called.
a mercenary army. I can't remember the name of them though.
Yeah. Well, the point is that's kind of what it was like. So NETC, then you have these guys that have the money that were paying the mercs and took out goons, are the same guys building this network. You have Lenny Kravitz, who financed a lot of it. You have Celine, who's an MC, who is no friend of Goonswarm. You have Suez, who's no friend of Goonswarm anymore, even though he's the guy who sings a Little Bees song,
Oh
because
man,
he's no longer there.
it's a classic.
He's now an enemy of his old group. And then you have C4, who is Pandemic Legion, Reikoku, and he was no friend of Goons as well. So you have this thing that's supposed to, be neutral, funded by the same guys that basically beat Goons. So Goons hated this NETC thing.
Is this
so-
not like
so
an
they-
educational moment? Like, if you buy a crack house, don't understand how, like, SWAT doesn't fucking come into it once in a while, like after you bought it from somebody else?
No, it was cleansed. I mean, look, if you blow up a ship in Eve and you get a damage control unit that drops out of it, what? You put it on a different ship and it has no relationship to what it was before. It's a totally different thing. And that's how I see this whole thing. Yeah, but that's a memory you decide to keep, not something that's.
I don't know. It
It
tends
functions.
to be tends to be thrown into a hangar, repackaged into, and it ends up on a pile of other damage control tools.
Does it? I wonder if it trigger people, like if they knew that I just don't really repackage anything, and so I'll literally have just like a hanger like that's like
Oh
10
my God.
pages long because it's a bunch
You know
of
the
like
Carfax
unpackaged
thing?
mods all over the place.
I hate you.
You know,
so
you
much.
get a
Oh
Carfax.
my god!
I
Yeah,
don't
Carfax
use
is on.
cargo
It needs
containers to
exist
sort
in
my
Eve.
shit either. It's just everything in my personal hangar, no cargo container assortment whatsoever. It's just a giant fucking mess.
Go Grath. Go
Yeah,
Grath. Tell
Grath.
us.
It's a Carfax for things in Eve. Like this ship you bought, it may have, I don't know, maybe even if it was repackaged, like this ship you bought has 78 kill marks on it at one point. You repackaged it. It was first bought this date, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like the day it came off the line, and maybe like this damage control you bought died on this ship, and that ship, that kind of thing, like a Carfax report. Like maybe I got a cursed
Ship
damage
facts.
control. It's died on 35 dudes
Micromancer.
ship. Take
We need
this
a
fucking
ship
thing
facts
and
report.
shove it up your ass. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this one's cursed.
This one killed
I
your
like that,
mom.
though.
You don't want this ship, right?
This-
I'm like,
This one was in the Battle of X-47.
Right.
I like
yeah,
that.
just a lifetime of just if
I mean,
it was on a ship that blew up, a type of ship and place that it blew up. You don't need a name. We don't have to shame everybody.
which actually
You kind of
reminds
do that
me,
with
when you
ships
say-
anyway. Like,
Go ahead.
Sorry,
Go ahead,
sorry.
my bud.
No, I was just kind of saying, like, you do that with ships every so often as well. Like, especially if ships that are large enough and last for long periods of time, like Titans and Supers and stuff like that. Like, I know that in one of the X-47 fights, like, there was a guy there who was really thankful that his Titan got saved because it was the same Titan that he used all the way back in BTEC R. So
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's pretty fucking awesome.
It takes people like Grath to say like the Titans in the Battle of BTAC R, those were like old school Titans.
Yeah,
it's a human memory, like.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, like if you noted that on that, like that Titan Hall should be able to note that somewhere on it. Like it's been in some.
Yeah.
If it was in BR and now it was in like whatever it was, UALX or whatever system it was, like it's pretty fucking good.
Yeah. Well, you can only do it in biography, which only travels with a character or
right.
a Citadel.
Yeah, maybe a ship needs a biography almost.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool, actually.
Notable, like you could like maybe like just like a biography page for a ship, so you could put notable fights with like killboard links in it, so you could see like I've been flying this particular piece of shit Leviathan since 2009.
It would be funny because like if you had stats like that on ships, you would find that I guarantee there would be like people that would be collectors and start collecting all this stuff and like have this like almost museum style of memorabilia of like, oh, I got this ship and look at this.
Yeah, I mean, there's already people that do that, right?
Yeah, I mean, like they would start trying to like, they would be like, oh, you got that Titan, I'll buy it for like 500 billion. I know that's like way too much for a Titan.
Whatever the Raven State issue went for 3 point some trillion or some shit like that last time it sold. That's absurd, but that's you just have more.
The closest thing to actually, the closest thing that we have to actually being able to confirm that this ship is this old kind of thing is the classic kind of like capital that has large rigs on it. It's pretty much the only thing that we have, right?
Yeah, you have that, and you have just collecting rares. Like,
my Iteron still has fucking large rigs.
I would think it's not hard to put a field on ships, like a biography field. But database-wise, it would just fit into the structure that they have.
I feel like we would find out that every time you repackage
this ship was
it would
previously
get wiped.
owned by.
Yeah, that's true. What happens when it gets repackaged? Yeah.
Right. I think you would find at that point that it gets wiped, which is a shame because if it was persistent, that would make it great.
They could code their shit. They can code their shit stronger and like be able to go past repackage.
Get them, Dirk. Code your shit stronger.
Code your shit stronger.
Stop skipping
your code game up.
Code leg day.
I don't pay $14.95 a month for you to not code stronger.
Because I think right now the only collectible aside from like the rares like State Navy Raven issues stuff like that is corpses. People like if someone's got like the Matani's corpse or Grath's corpse or Villy's corpse.
Oh no, not my corpse. My corpse been around more than your sister, but everybody's got a bit of it.
That's quite a no.
Man, I had a really good fucking thought before, and I don't remember.
Don't say it, Drake.
I'm joking. Jesus. It's not true. No, like, I'm not kidding. She's literally married to the first boyfriend she ever had. So
I'm doing a fucking shot for the fact I don't remember the really good thought that I fucking had before.
Oh, I hate that.
I'll drink to that.
You have good thoughts too.
No, it's like and I had it was like actually really fucking solid in like the grand scheme of like how would the meta.
I'm skeptical.
Like, I know. And like I say that, and like you can totally be skeptical because I can't remember, but whatever. I'm fucking old, bro.
Cheers, bud.
Yeah, I think you're right, Grath, that it's not the biography would have to get wiped because the ship would remain unique.
I just don't know. I thought there was something where like ship IDs change or reset or some shit like that, or item like something weird happens. I thought somewhere where some kind of ID number changes when you repackage something, and I think that would fuck it.
Yeah, they can fucking change it. They can code stronger.
Go faster, stronger. But you're right.
Code steroids.
Because that's why insurance gets wiped too, probably.
Maybe. I mean, it might be something they can fix, but like then you would have probably running it. That would be the unintended side effect is you would insure a ship, repackage it, and ship it halfway across Eve like a jerk.
Whatever, the fucking serial number on it doesn't need to be erased.
Safety feature.
You'd get the drop it from
outside.
outside.
You don't need to file that off.
We need to have fucking VIN numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what
SIN numbers, ship identification numbers.
Whatever. I love the idea. Of
oh my god, SIN numbers. That would actually be good, Drayden.
Yeah.
And then people would buy into it more now that we call it SIN instead of VIN.
Absolutely, yeah.
The depth of character that the ships would inherit from this sort of thing is
for sure. That's the big part, right? Like, like the whole attraction to Firefly is like the actual history of the ship's Serenity. right?
Time out a second. Apothony.
Oh,
Apothony out
A.
in fucking Twitch. Okay.
He's been
Has
here
said
also.
since a few years ago, each ship has a unique ID now, so CCP can actually track them individually.
There it is.
It wasn't
when
that
they-
originally, but it was required to make skins work.
Was that when
well,
they
there you
changed
go.
it from changed it
Actually,
to
I don't know if that's actually tied to fucking ships or if that's not tied to character. Like,
Was that-
I don't know. We would need to talk to Apothony more or have him enunciate
Well,
better.
no,
in
it would
fucking-
make sense.
I think
as a
that has to
ship.
do with when they updated the database to 64.
Because that is tied to you as a character. That's sold.
Now,
like,
now,
that's
no, no.
soulbound,
He's
right?
like when skins first came out, you skinned a specific ship, and if you skinned a ship and
skinned
traded it to someone, it still had that skin, and so that specific
Yeah,
ship
item
number
because it was
okay.
because
had
if
to
you
be
skinned a
kept
ship,
track
it
of.
wasn't a,
Well, it used to
it
be
wasn't
tied
just a
to ships.
vindicator;
It's
it was
no
a
longer just
vindicator.
tied
Blah
to
blah blah.
Right, now it's tied to characters.
Now it's
and,
soulbound.
yeah, now it's tied to characters, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I had-
back before it was to the specific ship itself.
I had a friend
See,
who's a really
look how
good
fucking
player.
smart I am. I have good ideas.
That is a really good idea. But a friend quit.
VIN number.
Eve, and one of the things he talked about was when they changed the skins to people to the holder of the skin, not the ship. He thought that was terrible because he was really looking forward to like trading in these rare ships that had skins. You know,
See, that
upon-
would have been fucking cool.
There's another offside of that, which was basically if you ever skinned your ship, you stood out like a fucking sore thumb in a fight,
Sometimes.
and you were not 9 times out of 10 primary.
Well,
just-
that's-
If
that's
people
part of it
zoomed
because
in
of-
though, like that's the thing is like when you're zoomed
no,
down.
no,
to
no,
the
because you'd
brackets-
you'd see it. You'd see it on brackets as you wouldn't just be like say a Megatron. It would be a Megatron, blah blah
Yeah.
blah issue, whatever like that.
that's part of the
However,
attraction, though.
I was wanting to transition before into this thing that I want to talk about, but like now it's even fucking better.
I support your transition.
A fucking character that was born on Eve's launch date selling for like 500 plus billion.
Yeah, that's nuts, right?
While the skill points that are in that fucking character that hasn't done shit in a long time sold for basically
270 billion.
it would have been like 250 or 270 or something like
I thought
that.
it was, she's like 278 to be really specific.
There was a part of me that wanted to tweet out at the time, we've reached peak Eve, but like I knew that we had reached peak Eve a long time ago, therefore the tweet wouldn't have fucking like, made sense. But have we reached peak economic Eve to where it's like, oh shit, there's so much money in this game that we're buying up fucking like artworks that were sold off at auction years ago and nobody has seen in a long fucking time, so fuck it, I'll just pay more than I have because it's the 80s and we're all on coke.
You're buying a history. You're buying a history of a character. Like people don't look as people don't think.
Is that history?
It's not
Just
history
because
as such,
that
but like
particular
I
character
would
was
be
born
more
on that day?
I would be more suspicious and look into something a lot further if I was like say a corp recruiter for someone who did not have any history whatsoever, in comparison to someone who had a fairly lengthy history or maybe not a fairly lengthy history, but a history that went back a long period of
That
time.
is a legitimate
And that's the
anniversary
thing.
day in this fucking game. The question is there so much money out there that guy the year before was able to buy, I think, that character for like 270 million, like 270 billion, 35 billion more than that character's like salvage value was worth, right? A year before, and can basically double it a year later.
Maybe he
Well-
was just very good at finding, the right buyer for the right item.
Yeah, all collecting is dependent on the people involved, but because you can ask any price for anything, and if the people are willing to buy it, you're saying is that a bad sign for Eve that there's too much money in the game?
There's too much
at
money
it,
in the game.
but I'm looking at it differently. I'm thinking in terms of things that you cannot change, the permanent things that you cannot get anymore go
Yep.
up in value over time, and those are getting rarer and rarer. Your skill points used to be
Rarity
them.
collectors are absolutely a thing in Eve, are they not?
Oh yeah.
Not just
Oh,
from
yeah,
ET
totally.
ships and all that kind of stuff. Like, rarity collectors are absolutely immense. If you knew that you were buying a Ishikon Watch Scorpion skin from somebody who got it during the whole Winter Blink, I'm sorry, sorry, Winter Blink. I didn't mean to say that. Summer Blink. Summer Blink. Holy shit! The whole fucking spring
Winter
Blink
Blink,
thing.
the arch rival to Summer Blink.
Okay, like would that be worth more? Like when you knew it was handed out at that time, would it be worth more? Are you like a comic book collector now in Eve? Is this now a new fucking thing in Eve that is like even more than what it was a few years ago?
The thing with that compared to like real world collectibles is like there's no way to prove that that's where that skin came from necessarily, because there's nothing that says this was one of the skins given out like during the sword.
Ishikone Watch Scorpions have not been released since that time, so anything before that,
let me look up this skin.
Yeah, but weren't they released before? I mean, they weren't a new skin at that time.
That was like a one-time thing. Scorpions have not been released since the time that CCP created the scandal that allowed the value to rise.
So it was a unique skin created for that and hasn't been released since then.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought they were out before that.
If it got re-released, the price of those things would obviously automatically drop straight away.
I have the Wakazashi Uprising Parade set for the Mortis Angel ships, and the only place you could get that skin set was the 27 Plex pack. And let me just tell you that I paid something in the neighborhood of 35 billion for these 3 skins because there were just none. There are none. They had never been released in any other pack besides that 27 Plex pack. And, yeah, it sucks to pick them up. The most expensive one was, of course, the Orthrus, but the Garmer was next, and the Bargus was actually pretty cheap.
There should be price appreciation in these things that as time goes on and whatnot, we've got a level of appreciation. But, like, honestly, in 1 year, we have a doubling from 270 billion, let's say, to, 500. It's like, oh, man, this is like...
Yeah, they did piss me off a little bit. They released a second set of parade skins that don't have the metallic sparkle that the Wakazashi Uprising ones do. They're just like kind of like a shitty washed red color, and it was kind of like released after these parade ones. But the parade ones are like fucking flake metal. It's like a 1986 IROC or some shit like that.
Bro,
I mean, this is,
number one.
These are one of the reasons why
I
always
86 IROC, and that bitch was fine.
Garmer pulls up blasting Def Leppard, no problem.
T-Tops fucking... Where did T-Tops go, by the way? I'm going to tell you right now.
They fucking leaked.
They could have improved on T-Tops over the fucking years. T-Tops were totally fucking baller.
T-tops were like 2 sunroofs, one on each side.
No, they weren't 2 sunroofs. They were 2 halves of a sunroof with a median.
Hell yeah!
I totally forgot about this.
Part of the door, right?
I call it headspace for 2 tall people. I mean, because in my car I have to like lean my seat way back, but in the summer I can open my sunroof and I can sit straight up.
I like that.
Although I try not to sit too, because if I sit literally straight up, you could actually see my hair out of the top of the sunroof. So I was like, no, that's fucked up. I'm gonna still slouch a little bit.
You're like Dino.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Literally, to buy my car, I had to eat at a Greek deli 5 times just to get the IROC. Otherwise, I would have just been in a Z28.
Do they stamp your card each time? So you got 5, and then you...
That's how it fucking worked, man. I'm telling you right now. You either had to go to a fucking Greek deli or had to go to a fucking, Italian pizzeria to be able to get the award to actually drive an IROC. You couldn't even get the right key.
So I like what Locator says here. The T-Tops went to New Jersey and never left.
I don't think I've ever.
I'm telling you, man.
I've never seen a T-top in my life.
I sit there watching people roll convertibles down the road. Like literally this summer, I'm sitting there driving down the Jersey Turnpike, sitting there watching this girl roll up her fucking soft top, and I'm sitting there going, man, if she just had T-tops, well, she'd still be wet because she'd have to pull over and lay those T-tops in. But whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
over my head.
Oh, you saying something about the
really?
Watch Scorpion made me look. You know the Scorpion's the only ship I don't have any skins for. That's fucking weird.
Mark Hamill was in Corvette Summer, and his car had fucking T-tops.
What was that, Grath?
I said the Scorpion's the only ship I don't own any skins for. That's weird.
What?
Yeah.
You want me to buy you
How
a skin?
strange is that? Not any. Not even none.
You want me to buy you a skin?
No.
New thing to do.
No. Grav is a skin collector.
I am.
He is one of those guys that is on the road to getting the fucking Buffalo
My
Bill
Dota
skin.
account's worth over $1,000. I like to collect
Jeepers
Space Barbie
Creepers,
clothes.
or...
Do not even give him a fucking skin because actually, hold on.
Once he starts, he can't stop.
We're we're gonna swirl this back at the end of the show to the front of the show.
Well, it's
okay?
five.
And when we were talking about skin
over the
collecting
show, but
back
we
then,
could go
what if you kill a different person that you've never killed before? What if you can collect a skin from them?
Nah, you get a kill. You get a kill mark. That should be enough.
Or like a scalp.
Or what if? Like, are you
what
talking
if
like
you
refining
kill
corpses
somebody
for
who has a
skins?
skin that you don't have yet? Can you get a partial credit towards, like, you've got to kill so many, whatever named, skins
Kind
or
of
whatever,
like salvaging.
and then like you can actually earn a skin by killing enough skins out there.
Kind of like salvage and BattleTech.
By getting enough scalps. By getting enough scalps.
Well, I'm
exactly
saying like salvage and BattleTech. Like you kill the mechs and you get salvage, and you get enough salvage, you get a full mech of that kind. So it's like if you kill someone that has the a certain skin on a certain ship, and you kill enough of those ships with that skin, you get enough pieces.
Get that skin.
You get to redeem and get that skin. Maybe.
What about taking scalps in Eve?
I don't know if they would. I don't know if they would really like. That might be a little. I'd be fine with it, but I don't know. Like they might think that's a little dark.
That's pod people. It's like, or we pod clones and shit. Like, what if we were able to get not the soul of the person's skin, but just their outer?
It just calls to mind like Inglourious Bastards, like Brad Pitt's like, I'm gonna get me like I need my Ishtar scalps now. I want my scalps.
What if you went out there and you hunted, like Ishtar skins or something like that? Like, would that not be something they would want to add to the game? Ishtar skin, hunter skin.
I don't buy Mimitar skins because I don't feel like there's enough ship for the skin to be on. So the Vargur is pretty much the only one I have one for.
If anything,
by the way, we're trademarking this because I know nobody's ever fucking talked about this on any other show.
It should be like a web series, like Steve Irwin, like Skin Hunter, like Eve Skin Hunter, like
Eve Skin Hunter.
I mean, someone should do that.
Trademark Huge Raiden because nobody's ever talked about it.
It would have to be someone with an Aussie accent. Just be like Otto. I know Otto. I don't know if he left or not.
Otto Bismarck could be our spokesperson
could be
for skin.
He could be the Eve Skin Hunter.
Trademarker? No, that would be a different show.
Either Otto or fucking Bam hasn't played anymore.
Oh, Graf, I just thought of something.
Uh-oh.
People lie in Eve.
Yeah, for sure.
So if you write a biography of a ship, you'll never know if it's real or not.
No. Yeah, I was thinking about that.
That's because you don't
somewhere like some way to.
Let Graf
verify it. There needs to be some way to verify it, like for sure. I was thinking about that as I said it. Like there definitely needs to be a verification process for yes, your ship was in the system. Yes, it scored a kill mail during this big fucking 10,000 man fight. Or, like I don't know how you would go about that. Almost it's almost like something that the game company itself would have to tag all the ships that survived with.
Yeah, something like a what do you call it? Like a kill mail system or a badge, like something. Like the kill mail system.
I know. I know in my corp that some of us got like medals for being in the Battle of Bitagar.
What about if what we're talking about here right now is like actually serializing each ship that is like created in this game? What about a born on date? What about that ship was born on fucking?
Yeah, that's any of that kind of stuff that makes a ship gives the ship more character. The ship is your avatar.
Ship that was born on the birthday of Eve?
Yes.
Of course you would, right?
Absolutely. I want to drag it to the fucking streets of Mogadishu, chanting its fucking name after I killed it, so everybody saw. Like, for sure.
Well, do you think you'd be able to have enough space to be able to say, that this ship has traveled to these systems?
Maybe.
Or has been in these systems? Like,
that
would you
could be
be able
that's
to?
a whole lot of data you're talking about.
Yeah, that's a whole. Yeah,
can
that's
we
what
just kill a baby ship?
Yeah, any of that stuff. Like, there you go. Like, that's a thing. Like a ship. Like, almost that should be in the ship's biography page. Like, systems visited, right?
Yeah.
Well,
kills participated in. Like,
damn, you could even put a date on when those systems were visited. Like, it's literally just 6 numbers.
NPCs killed.
6 to 8 numbers.
Be out there hunting down the fucking Barista's murder mobile.
It would require a lot more like data storage, but I'm like storage space is not the money thing. It's more like server like not bandwidth, but like server processing power. So like just adding more like storage onto their server side wouldn't be that big of a deal. But as far as like if you added like you were talking about the date created with ships, instantly that would make somewhere in the game the oldest ship in Eve, and it would be incredibly valuable. Right.
Number one, they would never
totally.
be able.
or
they
like
would
you have
never
the same
be
thing,
able
like
to do
number
the
of
oldest
owners.
ship
Like
in
this
Eve
ship's
back.
been owned by like 641 people. Somebody wants to collect that shit.
They would never be able to do the oldest ship in Eve because they've never been tracking the fucking born-on date of this shit. Like they would not be able to Budweiser ships.
Builder
in this game.
name.
That's an issue, yeah.
Okay. However, we could just find at least a reasonable starting point and then move on from there.
Maybe even builder name and builder corporation. Like that'd be like what corporation the ship was built
But
from.
then you would
name
have
and date.
some schmuck in high sec who would sit there and go, "Yeah, I totally built it on that fucking day. Bang! I killed myself." Because that's how schmucks in high sec work.
Are you serious? That is the weirdest thing I think you may have said this year.
Is it?
And he says some
While
weird
they were
shit.
literally
Types.
trying to real money trade, like the plex that was in their hold. No, they would totally do it all at once. Because right now we're gonna move off to holy shit. We actually have where the fuck's my fucking mouse cursor?
Well, I'm just saying, like, we're 15 over.
We're gonna move off to the.
Do you want to keep going? Or do you want to split it?
Because like INN doesn't have shit after us. So
I know, but
we
it's
can
like
go until dawn and still
I
be,
know
not
we could,
vampires.
but it does slowly transition in, and then also splitting up the podcast and this. So I'm just saying, like, do we want to keep going?
Whatever. I just threw it out there into Twitch chat. I'm not saying we've got a whole long time to go. My wife wants me to like wake up tomorrow morning.
Yeah,
and go to the
I
notary.
was looking. Yeah, that's very true. But
I was hungry.
However,
I've known you motherfuckers for 2 hours. Also, I do have one thing to say. Velo, a guy came all the way from Finland to hang out last week. That was pretty cool. I've been playing games with Velo for like 10 years, and he had to drop his girlfriend off as a foreign exchange student, and he drove up here to the frozen north. Yeah, no, Velenad.
Oh wow.
Villa
Velenad.
He was how far away?
Velenad versus Velo Knight.
Velenad. Why you keep saying night?
Hey, how far did he drive?
Is it spelled similarly, like
He
Velo,
actually flew
but like
into
with a V in front of
Chicago.
it?
No, it's Velenad. It's spelled just like it sounds. Velonad. Velenad. Like,
So he
what
flew
the
in
fuck?
he flew in from overseas.
He flew in from Finland, and then he drove his girlfriend up to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan and dropped her the fuck off, and drove over to here.
Suck it out.
And then hung out with me and Hamey for the weekend, where he pushed Hamey's wife down an 8-foot cliff.
We can actually run the fucking thing that I just threw out there in the Twitch chat. I'll throw it out. What the fuck? Oh yeah. Paste.
Oh, the security.
Okay. Again, security came out with a thing, and we've gone through like a couple weekends here. Like I call them weekends because when we're on open comms, it's like the beginning of the fucking weekend for you people out there, where we've had the beginning and the end of fucking GM week, and the fact that they were out there killing like a handful of fucking people that they apparently fucking banned for botting related activities. However, what we found today was the fact that, exactly as I said before, there was a fucking ban wave going on from June 1st until at least now, apparently, where 3,368 account bans for botting related activities.
Good.
Right below that, not right below it actually, well below that, 1,469 account bans for account hacking. And then above that, 4,953 account bans for real money trading related activities. I would encourage you, if you are somebody who is out there interested in any of this shit beyond just the botting that you think is the scourge of your fucking world that like you don't do anything about anyways, whatever, that you should just go read this. They are literally serious about this, but one of the big fucking nuts was that botting related activities thing.
Oh yeah. If none of those accounts like were basically banned for like, or if none of those were like, and each one of those sort of categories weren't like sort of, in the differing categories, that's like that's like 9,810 different.
I don't
accounts
believe.
that got banned.
Okay, so the 1469 hacking, I'm going to separate that out for a second. I'm going to say that 3,388 account bans for botting and 4,953 account bans for RMT related activities. There's a part of me that says some of them were part of the next. A bunch of them were part of the next.
They do kind of like they interact. Like account hacking and RMT has like, I mean, if you talk to someone like Noisy, he will definitely say like there's a large amount of account bans for account hacking and RMT that are very, very much connected.
I was surprised with the numbers that they put, because
actually, do they add up?
Like I figured the number of bot bans would be the highest and RM2 would be the lowest, and it was opposite of that. Like, that was a little shocking.
But I'll tell you what, I'm fairly certain there wasn't 3,388
yeah, they don't actually
people
totally add up,
thrown into EULA.
They really add up really fucking close. That if you add up the account hacking and botting, 4,857, that's really close to 4,953 for RMT related activities.
Yeah, that's a lot higher than I thought it was. I thought RM2 would be a lot lower than
Let's
that.
assume that they are all completely individualistic. Not ick. Just individuals.
Yeah.
However, I am, for my last shot on fucking air tonight, going to do a fucking shot for Team Security, who, after the GM week shit was over, actually came out with what it was that I wanted to see. I wanted to see the last couple months of actual activity with with killing these people out there and shit like that, right? That's a lot of fucking bots. What I will say
they
is
should keep doing that, by the way. That should be like a thing that happens 1 or 2 days a week. They just fucking teleport people to EULA where they face fucking slaughter by the heathen masses, because that's some. I didn't go down there and shoot anything, but that's some cool shit.
Yep.
Okay, and I totally agree with you. I think all this shit should be fucking named and shamed.
I enjoyed the name and shaming, to be completely honest.
3,388 bans for bot-related activities. How many people got brought to EULA?
Not many.
Well, I don't need to bring every fucking
My shot
DNI
right now is them for doing the fucking ban thing.
Oh yeah.
Look, when I hunted the bots, dude, a lot of the bots were
right now,
DNIs and shit like that. And like, you're not gonna bring all those there to have them killed. Just bring the big ones there that are shiny.
No,
Fuck it.
they don't have to bring them all there. You know what they do during the course of that fucking day and eve? Just stream a fucking bunch of names across the fucking screen. And let some third-party dev or whoever it is, it's like, filming stuff like Deopa or whoever it is out there,
Why do you need to know
whatever,
exactly who
like
they
be
are,
able
though?
to like run that through on a fucking YouTube stream later on.
Like, I don't understand why you need to know the name of the criminal, how that helps you.
Well, I mean, firstly, you can run locator agents to find out where they are.
No, not just that, because they're banned. They shouldn't be found anywhere.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, they shouldn't be found anywhere. But what it does is say that, you know what? The people that we threw in here to the fucking Lions were not the only ones we did. Here are also these other people that we did, along with, you can figure out later on in your own fucking accord, about their affiliations and things like that. There would actually be fucking justice under the law for all of these people, not just the ones that we threw in front of you to be fucking trounced out.
It's like a wall of shame.
Yeah, totally.
Have the entire wall of shame. Don't just throw 3 hookers out there.
Drayden. Just
hammer those names into a really, really dodgy looking wall in Iceland.
Well, no, because it's like honestly, if they've got 3,388 and I don't know what.
Yeah, that guy right there has got it perfectly. You're going to get a list of Miner 1, Miner 2,
that would be great.
GX7, 43912, weird fucking whatever guy's asinine, clownish naming.
We don't care about their names. We care about the affiliation, because what happens out there in the meta of EVE is that they use the affiliation of where botters come from to blame the affiliated parties. Okay? And that is what
Are you butt mad that most of the supers that came out of there were goons? Is this what I'm hearing?
No. It's got nothing to do with that. It's just fair representation.
Honestly, I would like to believe that that's where it actually fucking came from, because then blame can legitimately be placed in those places.
I don't feel like you were going to blame the leadership for that. It's the players doing it.
If you want to shame people out there, at least shame them credibly. Don't shame them incredibly.
Well, I don't feel like anybody's shaming goons for the botters that came out of there. I feel
Really?
like
You don't
people
believe
no,
that?
No, I don't.
Oh no, there was definitely people doing doing the whole kind of thing, but those sort of people aren't the sort of same aren't in the mindset that you're in, Graph. Like,
there are botters in all the renter alliances.
Exactly.
I don't know if that's a trade secret or
exactly.
what, but like there, like I hunted bots around the map, and you can go in every single region of the game and find one, like without fail, every one. Yep. There is no group in EVE that doesn't have a botter in it.
If we name the characters that are involved with this activity, those alliances will be able to choose whether or not they not only name and shame, but they actually purge. And then over time, each alliance will change based on having the knowledge of where those came from.
No, we hate botters. We can't stand botters. But I'm not going to fucking waste my day. I understand that, but I'm not wasting my fucking day hunting them down. If you point one out, we'll fucking purge it.
No, we're not saying hunt them down.
That's the way it works.
It's the way out. The funny thing is,
I do not believe in players hunting them down in game, but we all have methods for hunting them down by name in our alliances.
Like, I don't understand what you would want here. Like, there is an alliance leadership in game that actively, like, none of the major alliances. Like, you won't find Pro Guy going, go get yourself a good bot program. Matani doesn't say, have you seen the best bot program? That's not a thing that happens from any level. And in any one of those instances, any of those people, if you're like, hey, look, this guy runs 40 bot accounts, generally, like, somebody's gonna go, okay, fuck him. Like, that's not like, and they're gonna purge him. But like, nobody's gonna spend their fucking day looking for these guys.
No, it's not about looking for them. It's about, if you're going to name people, don't name everybody from Baltimore.
I don't think anything that you're saying makes sense right now. I don't understand.
Well,
I feel like
what he's trying to say is like
this instance negatively impacted
you.
We
don't want every guy who was ever in college to only be the 5 guys they named from Baltimore.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So
Dirk basically.
Nobody thinks that only goons bot Dirk. Everybody knows, and I mean everybody that plays the game knows that everybody has botters.
Everybody knows that, but that's not what they say. And it's just like everybody knows that
just
because there are 3 corps that are leaving fucking Pandemic Legion doesn't mean they're fucking spell cascade.
I feel like their words hurt you. Like this is really weird because this should be a non-issue.
I'm trying to create equal
the
opportunity under the EULA.
Oh fuck that! You know the truth. Why are you letting this get you so bound up?
I remember,
like you know that every group in EVE has,
botters.
Like this is the same thing. Every group in EVE has botters in it. So just because people were like, "Oh, it's goons," why the fuck do you care? They're dumb. That person eats foam couch cushions, and you know it.
Equal opportunity, general fucking respect under the law.
Well, it's like in pure numbers. Maybe there's more botters and goons than elsewhere because there's more people in goons than elsewhere. But as far as like the actual percentage of saturation, the percentage of saturation is probably the same.
Because other games have had that kind of exact.
Did you know there's Chinese botters?
You don't say.
I was about to say that. I was about to go. You do realize that there are more Chinese people in the world.
I'm not going to allow this game to become someplace where just because a Chinese player is named that, like, everybody should fear Chinese players as botters. That is ridiculous.
Yeah, but you said Russian. You've actually said the word Russian botters.
I'm literally saying that literally.
You've said the word Russian botters. Those words have come out of your mouth before. So you've already painted.
Everywhere. I don't think that's
what I'm saying. Like, not all Russians bot.
So
like,
I'm saying, like, don't let
if you live inside the Russian country, you get a fucking bot program with your installation of EVE.
No, there's bot. No, it's.
Although if you do,
weirdly nationalistic.
There's botters everywhere. Like renters, high sec, low sec. I mean, I don't know. Maybe
I feel like Matterall is like, I am not willing to represent
feel like you have been negatively impacted by something that didn't have anything really to do with you, other than people saying bad words about the group you're in, which is really strange to see you get so bunged up over it because that's not normally your shtick. Like, who fucking cares? Somebody said goons have botters in it.
He's totally my fucking shtick. It has always been my shtick. Hold on. It has literally always been my shtick about how equal opportunity under the EULA applies to everybody. Okay, and one of the things that the EULA has never done was sat there and put names.
No. This is the thing. Dirk wants equal representation.
One of the things that the EULA has never done is equally enforce the EULA, right? So, if one of the fucking tangents that comes out of that is you're going to name people under the EULA, but not name the 3,382 other people, that were literally under the same
Today,
fucking mechanism
I
of the
have
EULA,
learned that
then
if
you
Dirk
are wrong.
motherfucking McGurk was still in Pandemic Legion today, he'd be taking the Robin Williams way out because of all the goddamn Reddit threads.
Motherfucker, you know I wouldn't, because those people believe in the rule of the EULA as well.
Well, the thing is, like, I mean, like, a lot of these bodies are...
The ruler. Can we just like short circuit it down to the ruler?
The
rule of the EULA.
But I mean, the vast majority of these bodies are not in any like the vast majority are probably in their own like private corps and very like small corps. It's like most of these are in groups that you've never heard of.
Look to the left of you.
Most botters
Look to
that
the
I
right
have
of
found
you.
over
There's
time.
There's a botter somewhere out
for
there.
sure.
You're to the left.
Pretty
To
quiet.
the right is the edge of the window, so there's no one over there.
I remember one telling me one time when he found somebody else that that was botting too, and he was like, "I bought," and they went off in the corner and talked about their disgusting.
Oh no!
Exactly. But you know what? Since he did,
Intervention.
All I'm saying is, if you're not willing to fight for fucking equal fucking protection under the EULA for all of these people who like apparently are complete criminals, it's like whatever. You're not willing to fight for yourself.
You just want to see those virtuous.
You're trying to hide something.
You just like Dirk. You just want to see those virtuous motherfuckers who chime up in chat, basically going, "Oh, blah blah blah, etc. etc. You guys are obviously fucking great homes for botters, etc. etc." You just want to see those virtuous motherfuckers basically get.
When I log in, I want to see a bunch of motherfucking names. They're sitting there going, "Oh shit, fucking team security just nabbed a bitch." Okay, that's
one of the things.
Right before your clone is not here where you thought it was.
One of the things. One of the other games that I play, like I actually got a thing when I logged in a couple of days ago saying, the report that you handed in about this particular person. Yeah, we actioned that, and he's now banned.
League of Legends.
Nope. PUBG.
I'd say they do that too. I think a lot of games started to do that.
I'm really,
but it was a good feeling. What I'm saying is, it was a good feeling.
I'm really a little concerned right now about my friend who, like, I know is a rule of law kind of person, and like is fighting against naming names out there of people that are actually breaching the contract.
God
that
damn,
we
they
have.
hurt your feelings.
He's not. He's just saying that you seem to be super.
All right, well,
that's all.
Real quick, we're half an hour over. I know Matterall's falling asleep at his desk. He's still at work. You got to go home.
Fuck you, Matterall. It's 4:30 in the morning for me. Wake the fuck up.
He's actually the kid next to him, but not sad, just tired.
Sad boy. We're calling that picture Sad Boy. Does that picture actually have a real fucking
Sleepy
name?
Boy.
Just
Sleepy Boy.
Sleepy Boy or Tired Boy?
No, it's fucking Sad Boy.
That's the same thing, isn't it?
Oh shit, my jump for
it's like Matterall's ruffling his hair from the past.
Yeah. Tie your shoe, buddy.
Well, I want to go because it's been 2.5 hours and I'm hungry and there's exactly 4 trains outside.
Rat's got to go. Fucking Matterall's got to go. McLeod's in a totally different time zone of the world. Can we get an Australian in for McLeod right now?
Good luck,
Can we swap a McLeod for an Australian?
Judge
waking up right now.
Judge's in
trying to fucking
stop
trying to trade me over, man.
We're running out of Aussies.
I feel as though we were in a moment there, everybody, and I feel as it was like when Grath was saying, "Don't report botters." Like he was ready to say it.
What?
It's like putting words in his mouth.
No, I mean, I feel as though you don't care about what's going on out there, and it's like I've heard other people that don't care, and
So
he doesn't care just so long as it gets. Banned.
I feel like you can report botters. I would never tell you not to do that, but I feel like I know for a fact I've seen people say, "I'm going to report you as a botter" or whatever.
He doesn't care whether it's named.
Yeah, I wish they would make it easier for me to kill them because the more of the mechanics they've added over time have made it more difficult to catch them.
Well, like an infinite weapons timer.
No, okay, so there was the Citadels are just getting. I have found one set of bots that run a program where they just warp up to the edge of the Citadel and tether. And those guys I can bump off, but as soon as you bump them off, they cloak. And all you gotta do is decloak them. But it took me forever to realize they were cloaking. So that kind of fucking sucks. I don't feel like... Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Citadels have generally made it a little bit easier. I can't wait for passes to go away because those are the ones that are basically foiling me right now. But I mean, they're just going to come up with a dock button. Yeah.
Well, why are they foiling you?
Well, you can't
bump them.
Yeah. And like it's you can set up a sling bubble to try and pull one or two of them. But I mean, when it's 12 Gilas, I just want them all.
But there's also a surprising number of bots that like will detect that and blow it up using.
Just take one and go.
I did have one guy that was smart, right? He was making safe spot perches on his POS, and he was cloaking up, and I was able to like figure that out like by doing the probe thing or whatever. And so I would get him, and he started making these little cages out of POS guns, and he would fucking make his safe spot in the goddamn cage, and his ship would warp over there, and then it would just cloak up, and I would warp in to try and decloak him, and I'd get to him, and I'd land on him or at least where he should be, but I'm in the fucking cage. And now all the POS guns are fucking me up.
That's almost like a really kind of
awesome.
crazy. That's almost like a crazy kind of version of the POS Sino trick. Like
yeah, kind of yeah.
Grath, it's late.
That was fucking fun.
It's late in the night. I've had a few shots. Have you had any shots?
I don't drink. I rarely drink. How about that? I do drink sometimes. Yeah.
Okay,
let me
ask you. Best it gets to drink is really off orange.
Let me ask you two really simple fucking questions. You coming to Vegas this year? Yeah.
I want to come, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna So I'm like the only working crew foreman at my company right now, and we're pretty far behind on the number of jobs we have to get done before winter.
My understanding is that in Trump's America, there's a whole bunch of fucking crew foreman jobs that are open. Can you please hire somebody before Vegas?
Yeah, but I usually fire them right afterwards.
No, see, you know what?
Do projects really need foremen?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh,
that was a
joke.
Of
course,
yeah. I know.
I mean, like, okay, so like to give you an idea,
does a project need a manager?
One of the last site helpers.
No, it never needs
Corey,
a project
Corey
manager
is 26,
because then you can just like project
Corey
manage over that.
So I can't leave a guy that can't read on a job site to do things like he's, I mean, Corey's a good kid. He can pick shit up, but he listens like a fucking log. So, and he's dumb as a brick. And so, like, I'm not going to leave just like Corey on a job site. There's got to be somebody there that's a thinker, a planner, and can read a tape measure.
Bro, I gotta be honest. I banked my fucking tickets this year on whether or not Corey was gonna be a hold up.
Yeah. Well, he's not. He's
okay.
Fired.
So like,
it was 100 degrees outside. I was 40 feet in the air, and he wanted to argue with me.
This year.
Yeah. Anyway, but what's the other thing? I want to go, but maybe that's where I'm at with it right now. Like
I believe that's where it's at. I believe that like the second question I had was like based on the first question, and it's all maybe.
Are you gonna go, Dirk? You're going.
I am.
I
am literally booked for the things I need to be.
If Dirk doesn't go, I don't get my limo.
I still have
he has to go.
Motivation.
Yeah, you'll find it. When he gets closer, you'll
everything right now is like ramping up for me hardcore to fucking Vegas, and like it would take a lot for me to pull out. Like honestly, like a gun to the fucking forehead and go, bitch, pull out. But like,
I mean, you don't.
I'm still. I
have no idea what the next day might.
Anyway, I gotta. Like I said, before my mic shut off, it gets cold here. I got jobs I gotta get done. I got ground that's gotta get dug up.
I want to thank you. I want to thank you on a personal basis, but like, my thank you tonight was more along the lines of I totally expect to see you in Vegas, so therefore, don't accept this thank you unless you actually come to Vegas.
Oh, fuck you then. What was the other thing you wanted to ask me?
I don't remember, and that's why I'm not like fucking doing a shot to it.
Okay.
Today was
the Alzheimer's is kicking in bad, Dirk.
I know.
Today was.
Dude, I'm fucking shaking, bro. I'm shaking. It's not even because I'm in a fight.
Still getting the headshots?
Grath, you might. Grath, someday you ought to present some kind of a presentation. I think it would be really good.
Maybe.
So angry, bro.
How to get out of your basement.
Make people out in the audience either jerk off or be mad.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna do, like I said, I'm gonna do all 3 Spartan races next year. So maybe I'll give a presentation on how to not be a wheezy fat ass.
Nice. Well, we had a late son.
Why don't you want to be my fucking friend, bro?
Today was the last day actually to put in your presentations. If you wanted to do one at Vegas, today was the last day to turn it in.
And did you turn one in, didn't you?
Did you turn one in, Maderal?
I turned in 2.
Oh, Jesus.
Turned in 2.
I turned in 2.
Why Dirk so cool?
Yeah, that's one.
And you know what Apollo did since last year?
Man, that's
Pause. Like maybe Keepstar removal 101.
I missed my deadline. I didn't turn mine in.
Oh, what were you gonna do it on?
I don't know, and that's why I didn't turn it in.
Why do you get high at Vegas?
Yeah, the blank sheet of paper was like,
Yeah,
I don't think they're
it'd
gonna
been
accept
like,
this.
I want to do something.
I think
That's
it's
what
okay. I
in.
don't think it's NDA if I say what I wanted to do. But the first one I said was I want to do the Continuum of War Part 2 and do just the last 2 years of warfare.
Nice. I like the last one you did last year.
Interesting.
The fun, not to like increase the size of your head, Metarel, but you were the one presentation I watched the entire Vegas last year because I was out doing other shit. Like it's like normally I watch most of the presentations.
Because I saw you out in the fucking hallway and said, "Drake,
I saw you
walk
walk in. I was like, "Who's that 9-foot guy?"
But it's like most of the time, like last year, I was out just doing so much shit all the time. I didn't watch any of the presentations, but I did come in and watch yours. I was like, and it was like a nice history of like, okay, it was cool because the history started like where you started your thing was right around when I started playing Eve. So it was basically like from the start of my game up until now, and I was like, this is fucking awesome.
Yeah, so this will be because I didn't have enough time to focus on, as Dirk calls it, World War B and beyond. So I would like to go back and do solid 40 minutes to an hour on just the last 2 years of war and what's happened. That's one of them. The second one is to describe Sanctuary Keepstars and to talk about the smuggling of one and what they stand for.
Dude,
and that kind
I
of stuff.
so want you. I swear to God, I'm gonna be out at the fucking cabana at Eve Vegas. Okay,
Yeah.
You do a fucking like storyline mission out there about fucking Sanctuary Keepstars. In that, I will walk in my bathing suit. I'll still wear a t-shirt and shit like that because I'm a fat motherfucker. Like,
Is it no shirt, no shoes, no service?
I will literally yell from the fucking back row during that fucking moment about how you're a fucking bogus ass poser doing that shit. Okay? I will strafe you from the fucking back row.
And in your Speedos with drippy wet
No,
legs,
I won't.
you will
I'm
have
not
all
Russian.
the credibility.
I won't go
you
Speedo.
want.
No, you should go Speedo.
He needs
won't,
hecklers
but-
in his presentations.
Yeah, but that Continuum of War speech, I went to look it up, and it got like 23,000 views on Eve's, thing. That's more than the keynote.
Because it was more than the keynote. It was more than the keynote. Because you know why? The keynote is like kind of a bland thing about the Continuum of War. It had that whole fucking like anybody who wanted to click on that was all about like we have high hopes for what this might be. What was the time limit?
It also
they
has some
actually listened to that?
buzzwords in it as well.
They
like
gave me
that do help.
40, 50 minutes, and I went right up to the edge of it, and then they kind of pulled me off stage pretty much. Because if you notice in the video,
No, they didn't pull
down,
you off stage.
No, but I looked down to my right because Manifest is saying, "Okay, you're done." Okay, and I was like, "Okay, all right, wrap it up." And then I ran right.
Yeah, but
to
he
the
won't
end.
be there this year. Nobody
know.
will be there to pull you off stage this year.
But listen, it got
Just 'cause they all
Just
got
go
fired
until they
last year.
literally physically pull you
So,
off. That would be fucking
in the
hilarious.
playlist. It got more than the keynote and more than anything else in there, right? Pretty much by far. Everything else got like 2,000 to 5,000 views. This got 23, and then another guy that posted it before CCP did got 5,000 views. So total, it was like almost 30,000 views on that thing.
Look at that. Look at that.
Hell yeah.
And even when you went through the whole continuum of war, everybody sat there and go, yeah, but why do I still shoot shit?
Yeah, and people were like, "Wait a minute, that doesn't
You had an
sound like
empty ending last year. Like, I didn't accuse you of that at the time, but I'm saying it now.
you thought the ending was empty, huh?"
It was a
That
little empty.
That was the best part of the whole thing.
Was it? Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
how, hey, by the way, I'm Apollo? No, everybody knew that
Don't
before.
spoil it.
Because
No,
we
if you-
because we had spies, at least 12.
If you watch the video, you can see everybody's kind of chiming in at a certain rate. But as soon as I do that surprise ending, all of a sudden everybody starts chiming in like, "Oh, that ending!" And they were super surprised.
Man,
at it.
everybody in the
Like
audience
you're trying
is
to,
totally
you're trying
like,
to,
this is his
he's
alt,
trying to
right?
develop a Hollywood level twist to the end of his
Like,
fucking
honestly, we were all
presentation.
passing shot glasses around and they're going, this is his alt, right? Yep.
No, some people figured it out. But I'm glad that people enjoyed it, and if CCP asks me back, I'll do a second part, or I'll talk about Sanctuary, Keepstars, whatever. And then if they do, then I'll go to eVegas. And this is not to put pressure on them, but if they don't,
Wait a minute, hold on, wait,
I
hold on,
may not
hold on.
go.
Wait,
Like,
hold on,
I'm
hold
not.
on.
I'm
You
not
gotta
set
build
to
it
go.
up. You gotta build it up. If you don't ask me to actually give this fucking presentation, Metarol, what?
I won't be there. No,
I'm
that's not-
concerned because
that's
McLeod,
not-
McLeod, you gotta let the fucking dead drop end.
all right.
Matterall, if they don't ask you to be there for that presentation, what?
really tired. No, I have no plans to be there right now because I decided at the end of last year I wasn't going to do it. And then something came over me and I submitted those two things to speak because I don't know, because I just wanted to give it a shot. And if
So
they
what
say
you
yes,
mean
then I'll go.
is,
I feel like he's submitted 2 under Matterall, but he's probably
like
submitted about 8 more under
I feel
different
like you
alt
submitted
names.
3.
And like, if he doesn't get in as Matterall, he's gonna go as an alt, and then like on stage, he's literally gonna be like, "Ha ha! I'm fucking Matterall."
I feel like he submitted 3. I want to talk about this. I want to talk about this. Do you want to suck my dick?
Nah,
No,
if you
I don't know.
if you say that sort of thing, you generally tend to get denied your internship at NASA.
I'm with Noisy Gamer. I thought the link was a bad situation, but I was smart enough
Really?
to get. Yeah, I did.
We're not going to do that. We're not going to
Smart
do it
enough
right
to get
now.
a-
It's too late in the night.
a floor on the second floor because I knew I didn't want to ride up, to the
It's an
19th
escalator.
floor and have no view.
No, number one,
Oh,
the link
I
doesn't
thought
have a
the
19th
views-
floor. It only has like a 12th floor
Whoa,
because
whoa,
it's a
whoa,
Motel
okay,
6.
Well,
so
yeah.
real quick, I don't know if you had in Planet Hollywood Matterall, but my views in Planet
The
Hollywood were
Motel
of
6.
like roof vents for like air
Oh.
conditioning.
No, I had a great view of Planet Hollywood of the whole desert. I think.
No.
Or was
My
it-
my view out the window was dirty ass roof with like AC vents. So
Oh, dude, I was
and
great.
then
Yeah,
my
my
shit
Dude, that was my shit at Hollywood.
great.
Don't even
yeah,
fucking
my
tell me.
view out the link was roof vents with AC vents or roof view with AC vents. So, but it's like, you know what? I don't really spend that much time sitting at my room window looking out the window going like,
That's the idea.
beautiful. I
If
spend
you
my time
can describe
downstairs.
the room outside of your
Yeah.
fucking window,
I thought the
literally,
link was-
you're my bitch.
The
I
look, it's-
own you.
the link was
because,
the link was a little more.
you are just a bitch, and I've bought all them.
Well, hold on. So the link was a little more expensive. That's a downside, but not excessively so. But the downstairs bar was nice. It was fine. The other downside with the link is that I think the local food area of Planet Hollywood was better than the link.
Well, maybe yeah.
The
thought
link
they were
had
the
In-N-Out
same.
Burger,
I'm not going to allow this
but
conversation to
Planet
continue.
Hollywood had
I
Gordon
love how
Ramsay's
Noisy's like,
burger.
the link made me appreciate working elevators.
Actually,
But-
the goons.
Exactly.
The goons are, a lot
The
of
elevator
goons
was
are-
awful.
Noisy knows. Some of us know what an elevator meant back in the fucking day, and like, but no, we're not going to allow this conversation to happen. We know
Almost
that we know that the link was
Yeah.
trash. We're not going to actually name the fucking barge it was on.
goons are gonna
elevators
be
were
at
Makes
the-
me think of the Hangover part.
They're
two.
going to be across the
That
street.
being said,
they're not staying.
that
there.
being
They're staying at
said,
the Cosmo.
we're also not going
Yeah.
to give extra credit for people who ran off to a fucking location 15 fucking minutes away because you know what? Their friends had Marriott miles.
What's that?
The
It's
types
miles
of
of air
Air
fucking-
miles for
the types of
Marriott
fucking
Hotel.
credit card credits that
Who are you
gave
talking about?
fucking
I know
free-
what they are.
a
I
free
know what they
fucking
are.
stay at the Cosmo.
I'm saying,
said
who are
what
you
they
talking?
were.
Oh, the
Okay.
Cosmo. Okay, that's so you're saying the
So
people staying at the
please.
Cosmo have run away.
I'm gonna tell you right now, every motherfucker that wants to actually protest this, lay on the fucking street. Don't go to the Cosmo because people you know have Marriott miles.
I don't know anything about that. What's that about?
How do you not know about that?
I don't
How
know
do you
about
not
that.
know about how to accrue fucking Visa points?
What?
I know how to accrue points. I know that, but I didn't
Do you
know.
not know how the fucking Capital Card works? So,
I
like,
didn't know
it-
people
not
had-
the Capital Card. 'cause
had
the
I
extra
feel like
Capital Card,
Dirk's
but,
been sneaking crack while we weren't.
Well, here's
odd.
here's my thing with the hotels. Like, honestly, it's like, I'm not.
like honestly, right
I'm
now,
not a
I am
high
literally
judge of
the most
hotel rooms.
truthful
It's like
motherfucker on this show.
does it have a bed that's clean? Does it
Correct.
have a shower? I'm good. Like I'm not spending like that's literally all. Like if I'm in my room, I'm
I
sleeping
do
or
not have
showering
the
or
Motel
shitting.
6
Like that.
card,
That's
but I do have.
those
the
are the
Marriott
three
card
things I
that
do in
is
my
willing
room.
to get me into
Not
IHG
true, Dave.
and the Cosmo.
well, I mean, but that can be done anywhere. But I mean, like shower, bed, toilet. That's what I want in my hotel room, and they all have that. So it's like because I'm
just
not
saying if you signed up through
90%
that
of the
thing,
time-
you only gave other people points.
90% of the time I'm not in my hotel room. I'm down hanging out with people, and so I am more concerned with what is the layout, what is the areas, and the 353 whatever that bar was downstairs. 35 bar was pretty nice. It was kind of actually
it was
nicer
literally
than
fucking shit from a service standpoint.
Noisy says, and it's close to
Unless
the
you
Denny's.
had your own girl that would walk
It
by and
is
like
close to
we
a
paid
Denny's.
for our own girl, Drayden. We had that.
It is very close to a Denny's. So there's that.
It was totally a fucking Denny's, but like a bar.
I mean, like, yeah. I mean, like, the breakfast place upstairs. What was that one breakfast place? That place was fucking good.
No. You only say that on the morning that we had the Talking in Stations breakfast up there.
No, because I went up there with...
Which was the day after the Open Com show.
No.
And I had to wake up, and you had to wake up to go up there and go, oh my God, can I please just get one biscuit with a gravy?
No. I went there 2 days before that with Roannan, Fishbone, and Random McNally, and a few other people, and it's good.
You could have gone there a few days before, but like the day that we went up there, it was like, bitch, can I please just toast it French style?
I got a country fried steak, and that shit was the size of my whole chest. Like
it was. If you were willing to wait for the chest size.
I mean, they put it.
Grath, you didn't go last time, did you?
No, you didn't.
No, I didn't go to the link. I haven't been to the
weren't
link
there.
yet.
And this is why it disappoints me to hear earlier in the evening, like 20 minutes ago, that Grath may not be there. Okay, because like
I'm sad.
I don't want him to not understand how bad it can be, but I also don't want him to like say, I'm just not going to be there because, out of choice. It's like I want somebody to impress upon Grath. Him being there like matters to other players in the game.
Oh, I know. My buddy Seth that hasn't played in years might actually show up, and it's going to make me mad if I miss it.
Well, Grath,
Well, there's still a chance.
I was just told to impress upon you that Dirk's going to be sad if you aren't there.
Oh, he just
Dirk's
needs to-
sad every year just
wanna
for the
install
way he
TeamSpeak
walks
after
around with a
this, by the way.
perma-sad.
It's definitely your team speak. It's not
I'm
your mic.
uninstalling it entirely. Fuck this. Get with me
I'm
on
not going to
Discord.
worry if one guy with a fucking greasy ponytail doesn't show up. Okay. However, if, well, actually this year I might. Like, you still have that greasy ponytail, right?
What? Please. That's not
Careful.
grease. That's testosterone.
Yeah.
But seriously, I am a little worried about this year. I'm not willing to kick it out right now. I'm going to kick it out after, whether or not my like hopes and dreams don't come true. Okay. One of my thoughts was that Grath would be there because that like carries a bunch of fucking weight amongst people outside of his alliance and coalition and all that kind
I really
of shit.
think it did. I don't feel like that's the same as you. I feel like you're
Really?
getting emotional and old. Yeah. Nobody gives a fuck if I come.
That's not true. They do.
That's really not true. Even fucking Matterall gets emotional. Like right now, like look at him. He's about ready to fucking like leave.
He's crying because he wants to go to sleep.
Look at the
No,
picture
he's like,
next to
he's
him.
like, if Lady Scarlet and Grath wasn't there, I wouldn't even give a presentation.
Lady Scarlet will be there.
Yeah, she's got a butt ton of shirts.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
I want one of those shirts. You better have a grass.
She's
shirt
not
so you
having
can
a
nail me.
fucking Dirk-sized shirt, is she? Is she gonna like roll up on me and roll dice on me?
I gotta go to one of these here shortly, Dirk, because Doom Chinchilla's got like $100 worth of fucking PL swag that I gotta pay him for that he's collecting.
Dude, where is Doom these days? He's like way out in the fucking nut zone.
Raging on Twitter about
He's just a
server
rage
lag?
mofo. Like
He's trying to produce as much Twitter kind of content as possible so he can actually get one
He's
of those
gotten
check marks.
he's gotten super edgy lately.
I swear to God, I feel like I
wish
need
I
to
could have a
learn how
check
to
mark. I
ski
got
again
2,700
under those
followers.
short
Where's my
skis they
check
use now. To like, to like go and find out where he is.
You have 27.
Yeah, I don't know. That doesn't like
Do I have
nobody
to
ever.
Breckenridge,
Nobody
like-
ever asked where I was when I was in the middle of telling you all to go fuck yourself. So I kind of mind my own business now that they have a job that I had. Like the number of people that were like, "Grath, you can't yell at people," are zero. Like Jeff tried it once, went like, "This is too much fucking effort. Yell if you want to," and that was the end of it.
Can I tell you guys what my one
Yeah, but you
fucking
did it with
loss
style.
Was that
What?
the chivalry time?
No.
No,
It was a different time.
it was
My
after or before.
one legitimate loss of a guy I've never met or legitimately talked to in anything other than like 6 hours later in Twitter, Jeff Rader. I know I was on a show he was on. I'm not sure it was him because I don't know him personally or anything like that. But like, Jeff Rader's one of those fucking like salamanders out there that like I'm not sure if I like was with him at the time or not, and like I didn't meet him at Vegas. Like Raider needs to come to this Vegas, or like nothing about Raider will ever count evermore.
Jeff is never coming to Las Vegas because people weird him out. We had one dude in PL that went all crazy and started like rattling off all this real life shit about Jeff. And ever since that happened, he's like, I'm never fucking hanging out with you people for real at all. Damn. You're all fucking psychopaths. Yeah. I don't disagree with him.
Texas one weird. Crazy.
I mean, yeah.
That first year I went when that dude just kept stepping in front of me while I'm trying to talk to that one couple.
That Jack
and he didn't say a fucking word. He just kept stepping in front of me like to be in the way. And I'm like, there's a balcony right here, bud. On the second floor.
I would be the same way though. If people are acting,
nobody cares about what your balcony will do to them.
If people are acting like that, I would be the same way though.
No, like that was the first year in Vegas. It was weird. I was standing over by the railing in Paris, and I don't remember what couple I was talking to, but this one guy just kept stepping like close, like inside your personal space zone, yeah,
kind of,
and like just directly in front of, and not say a word. He did it like 4 times in a fucking row. And like I try to be nice to people. I believe you should be nice. Is there anybody here that's part
of the Imperium or like goons or anything like that?
Me, you motherfucker.
Oh, me. Because before the week before Vegas, I want to make sure that on this show that we have the guys that are like fucking actually responsible for making Vegas happen. Because when Grath is saying year 1 I was there, okay, I was not there year 1. Okay, I was not there year 2.
No. The first year I was there, not year 1 I was there. It was like in 2015, I think.
15, yeah, 15.
Yeah, I think year 3 I was there.
I'm not trying to throw this out there as a proof point. I want people to know how fucking Vegas started. Like, I want to actually give legitimate fucking props for how this thing, which is the greatest thing of all fucking Eve meets, fucking happened.
Well, I think most people know that it started off as a goon meet. It started off as a goon meet with someone who was well connected in the kind of like circles of both hospitality and also the the convention centers and stuff like that.
So this brings Matterall in, who knows people who also like toss sheets on beds and shit like that, and then also people who were like
maids.
So weird. He's making the ethnic joke.
He went there. There.
Huh. And then people who actually knew how to throw fucking parties, like fucking Zappa.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll take that.
Know how to throw parties?
We need to every single fucking year about Vegas be able to tell people out there how this actually fucking came together. Because there was a handful of fucking people that actually made that shit happen back in the fucking day. I'm not saying goon. I'm not saying not goon. The people that organized it were goon. But other people were there, and they also congregated to the whole fucking Vegas thing. And then over time, it fucking graduated onto where fucking even CCP said, we cannot overlook this. So fucking Zappa Works and everybody else needs to have their own fucking representation for these things. Once a year. Once every fucking year.
The Open Comms equal representation episode. I think that's what you should title this one.
Oh no.
I am totally willing to have the equal representation
That's a scary
episode.
title for us.
So there's no Iceland Fan Fest next year, right? To go to.
Yes, there is. It'll be later in the. From what they said, who gives a shit? Can anybody actually guarantee that next year will even happen?
I thought they were doing London next year, not Reykjavik.
Wow.
I mean, try not to get too deep there.
Literally next year. Do we even know that it'll happen?
Wait, are they really not having a fan fest?
Yeah, they're not having a big fan fest in Iceland.
Next year, 2019, will be a bunch of fucking like other crazy ass fan fests out there.
Instead,
while they don't pay for the fucking like opera house or wherever it is they have it in, and
I think what's happening there is like the fucking Harper is like slowly increasing prices because they know that they can keep on getting it.
No, I've already told this fucking story in Open Comms.
You know,
they totally forgot to fucking pay for their fucking time next year, and it got all fucked up. So therefore, they've had this whole thing about how, like, you know, next year's going to be like around the world. It's really a -0 kind of thing.
Is that?
I think they're going to do it
number?
in Orlando, Vegas.
Negative Reykjavik, because like Reykjavik couldn't hold anything because that got booked because they didn't book their after their 5-year term expired because whoever was at the fucking pay gate of that didn't sit there and go,
they failed to pay their
CCP,
SOV bills,
don't you want to pay your SOV bill? And then bam! Oh my god! Thank you, McLeod. Thank you. That's how they got fucking delegitimized.
Yeah, they didn't fucking, you know, check the check mark.
So it's going to be Vegas. It's going to be Australia.
That was a shot, Jordan.
Down under. It's going to be.
I just did one.
London.
I'm going to
do
one too.
Did you?
And
like right before you did.
Or is it Amsterdam? Maybe they're not doing London. They're doing Amsterdam. And then the second
Amsterdam would be
American
good,
one.
man.
Will that be Orlando?
Next year is going to be a bunch of Eve Fan Fest around the world.
It's Amsterdam, Sydney.
Will be Eve Fan
I mean,
Fest,
you can do a lot of
Amsterdam
things in
or
Amsterdam
whatever.
that you can't do in
Amsterdam,
London,
Sydney,
which is
Vegas,
really
and
good
somewhere in the
thing.
northeast U.S. Isn't it?
Sydney. Okay,
Sydney.
They're doing the whole Eve Down Under as an Eve Fan Fest. Absolutely fucking.
I think
Eve
Amsterdam.
Vegas.
Amsterdam is like the replacement for Eve Vegas.
One other one.
Fan
Hold
Fest
on,
this
wait,
year.
hold on. There's one other one before I get to fucking Eve East Coast, which they still have not announced. I'm hoping they do that this year at fucking Eve Vegas.
But they were checking out Orlando, right? Weren't they checking it out?
Well, they're checking out like
Orlando.
Checking out all sorts of shit.
Dude, can you not pronounce any fucking state or city?
Orlando. Well, no, he can't. He can't even do names half the time.
Orlandia?
Where are you from? Orlando.
Jesus Christ.
Orlando.
Orlando.
There was a guy in school. His name was Orlando.
Yeah,
right.
and if you had
Calrissian.
said Orlando, his mom would have been happy, but you said Orlando, and she's like, why do you disrespect my son? It's like, god damn, it's like vowels.
He's thinking Orlando in the form of Londo.
I would love to go to Toronto. If they had the Fan Fest in Toronto, I would totally go.
You mean
What,
Toronto?
During the film
Toronto.
festival, or just like another party?
Toronto. Eve Tonto.
What about Eve Washington, D.C.?
No,
And
nobody likes
and
DC.
Donald Trump was the guest speaker.
Nobody likes DC.
Well, they got the casinos there now. It's probably, I'm told it's really nice. You can go. You can still have an Eve at the casino meet in DC.
I'd rather go like Eve Kansas City than Eve
No,
DC.
What the fuck?
I think most people who want to go
I've
to
never
sort
been
of like
to that.
Vegas and shit
I've
like
never
that.
been to either,
also
but just DC, it just doesn't sound great.
How
Well,
about fucking
DC
Eve
has
Hoboken?
a very
like what the
specific
fuck?
amount of people.
Kansas
who
City
wanna
doesn't
go.
sound great either, though. So
Even
I'm talking
before
about
Eve
type of
Vegas,
people.
even before Eve Vegas
I really feel like
became a
Kansas
thing.
City is described as great.
I'm
in
talking
any-
on my
in
ass, I
any-
think, actually. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know.
Kansas City kind of sucks.
It
Even
probably
Even before
does.
Eve Vegas became the legitimized thing that it has become, right? Everybody was sitting there screaming for Eve New Orleans. Because honestly, in America, there are only 2 motherfucking places that you actually want to party the fuck down. And they are overpriced fucking New York, overpriced fucking LA, and then you bury down to Vegas and New Orleans.
What about Eve
And
Anchorage?
You don't
to be fair, you'd
Ooh.
only want to go to New Orleans if like
Mardi
if
Gras.
you could guarantee
No,
that you'd
not
have
Mardi
a whole
Gras.
bunch of bands there that would be playing Eve.
If it was during Mardi Gras, Eve New Orleans would probably be pretty fun.
I'm
Oh,
gonna
yeah,
tell you
yeah.
right now.
I feel like a lot of you have not been to New
364
Orleans or
weeks.
smelled New Orleans.
I've never
and
been there.
You would
no.
probably not want to go if you had ever been there and just smelled
Shut up,
the
Dominark. I know I
area.
got 4 versus 2 wrong. Okay,
What about the Fifth Ward, New Orleans?
but
Isn't that
I'm
a
going
good
to tell you
place?
right now. There are a bunch of people out there that are pimping Eve East Coast, which is coming up apparently in 2019,
Man,
as
that's-
being between Orlando and Washington D.C. and someplace in the north that nobody wants to go to because they're going to come there
Dude,
during the winter.
fucking
Okay.
Eve Miami.
Nobody's going to Eve Miami. This is not going to be
Huh?
Eve Dirk Jersey
Do
fucking
you know how
Miami
many nerds
Shore.
would burst
Okay.
into flames if they went to Miami? Some of these motherfuckers that play Eve hadn't seen
I
the
was
sun
like,
since like
I went to
I'm just,
Miami.
I'm just saying from
They
someone
want
who
people to
hasn't.
come there,
I'm just saying
not come
from
there.
someone who you know isn't a U.S. citizen, you know, places that
We're
I would
not
probably
doing
want to
Eve
go.
Omaha. We're not doing fucking Eve Virginia Beach, like off to the left of.
Oh man,
No,
the
we're
police
not doing
presence there is
any of this
amazing.
shit.
It'd be fun to watch a bunch of drunk nerds,
I-
especially the foreign drunk nerds, stumble around fucking Virginia Beach.
Viva Pizza.
I've been to Miami, but I didn't really say, because it was just like a stopping point for a cruise. But it's like I didn't really like. I was there for like a day, and then a day when we came back, and it didn't really seem that great. Like
We're not doing Eve November 8th. Hey, while you're here, why don't you just cast a vote for in fucking Eve, West Virginia? No, we're not doing that, okay? We're not doing Eve, West Virginia. We're not doing any of that stuff. We're talking about like no, Eve, Boston, Eve, fucking like what? No, not Montreal. I know Montreal tries to pretend that they're on the fucking East Coast, but like we're not doing Eve, Nova Scotia.
All right, crazy idea.
I think putting this to an internet poll would be the worst idea ever because
crazy idea. What about
actually?
What about
I gotta go.
If
I gotta
they
go.
had balls,
All right, but
they
I'll
would
try to
do
get
it.
back on.
Bye, Matter.
I gotta go
Thanks,
too.
guys.
I'm hungry.
cheers, bye.
See you, Grant.
Cheers, dude.
All right, what about Eve Coeur
Holy
d'Alene?
shit! What do you guys think about Eve, Nova Scotia? They've got like nice sweaters and like shit and like I actually like their crab cakes up there.
Dude, what about Eve Coeur d'Alene?
Dude, that is totally not East Coast.
It's close.
No, it is literally not even remotely fucking close to like where you live. Like, if you want to switch Eve Vegas to Eve, do you want to pick a potato?
No, potatoes in the south, Dirk. Here it's like a lake resort town, glacial lake resort town. They're snowboarding.
They'll still sit there and say Idaho potato. It's like, look, we
People
can't have
don't
that.
understand. They don't understand. Most of the Idaho
I'm
potatoes
not
are
even
grown in Washington.
trying to get them to come to where I am. Okay, it's like, look, we can do an Eve Vegas, we can do an Eve Atlantic City, right? Because like, who wants to go to Eve Donald Trump land? I'm like, it's like nobody.
But this is kind of Donald Trump land, but like, now, just to blow your bubble, most of the Idaho potatoes are grown in Washington, but they're packaged in Idaho, so they're called Idaho potatoes.
When I buy fucking tater tots from Idaho, are they like Idaho or are they like Washington?
When they say they're Idaho potatoes, now there's a lot of fucking potatoes grown in southern Idaho, but not in the north. North is lumber dollars. Southern Idaho is farming. But central and eastern Washington and northern Oregon is a shitload of potato farms. But a lot of those are owned by Simplot, which is the big potato grower in Idaho. And they grow them there, and they ship them to Idaho, package them in Idaho, and because they're packaged in Idaho, even though they're grown in Washington, they're packaged in Idaho, and so they call them Idaho potatoes.
The fuck?
Yeah, so it's like, because the final product is made there, we claim it as our own.
That's fucking ridiculous.
That's the law of sales. That's how you know. Potato knowledge. That's exactly right. Eve Spokane. Well, Spokompton is what we call it here. Spokane is actually really fucking boring. Honestly, like, there's a little bit more stuff going on.
How bad do you think the end of the night of an Eve Philly would be?
I've never been to Philly. I've never been east of. So I took a road trip and I went like across the Dakotas into Michigan, down into like the South.
Philly out to me?
I've never been on the East Coast whatsoever. So I think.
Well, neither have I, dude.
I think Cincinnati is the farthest east I've been.
Being shot, but I would still grab a cheesecake, a cheesesteak, not a cheesecake. That would be in New York. Like I would have to grab a train and go
I'm just thinking of places synonymous with, like, you know, like the classic sort of US.
So right now you're just trying to
like
be like, hey,
I don't know,
I'm
just
not
like,
from America. I would like to know what it might be like there, like, you know, at 1 o'clock in the morning while I'm still
essentially.
drunk.
Essentially, yeah, because like if you're not going to go with, if you're going to go there, you want to go there for something that's just.
You should totally grab a cheesesteak.
No, I'm just saying, like, you know, if you're going to go there, if you're going to go there for an Eve meet, you might want to go there for something more than just an Eve meet. That's why I'm saying, like, Miami or like fucking Philly or something like that, like, or New York or something like that.
And this is why I've been totally trying to impress on the people at CCP to say, I have no idea where you guys want to go or the time of year, because time of year matters, right? Like, nobody wants to go to Eve Orlando when it's fucking July. because it's hot and humid as a motherfucker. Like,
Yeah, nobody wants to go to fucking.
Nobody wants to be a bunch of fat, sweating nerds in the winter, let alone when it's summertime.
Nobody wants to go to Eve, Minneapolis in December.
And that is why we have to impress upon CCP to say, hey, look, choose your shit based on season as well as, like, you know, all
Yeah,
the rest of these things.
At least say the season that you want to do a meet somewhere in. And then you can kind of go, okay.
Drayden, I think that you should totally have a fucking Eve meetup out there at a fucking Denny's in Coeur d'Alene. I think that would be cool.
There's some cool stuff out in Coeur d'Alene, actually. You can take some.
And there are some cool Eve players in the Coeur d'Alene area.
Yeah, like you could take some. There's like lake cruises now in the winter. There's a lot of fucking snowboarding out. There's a lot of good snow resorts up here. Like Schweitzer's really nice. It's the biggest snow resort in the Northwest.
Dude, don't get into fucking skiing. We know Idaho skiing is better than Colorado skiing.
No, it's not. No. Aspen is better than up.
That being
up
said,
here,
Doom Chinchilla has already got his linchpin on that.
Yeah, no, like Aspen and some other resorts down in like what was it? Fuck, I forget. Like not Showboat. There's another like big resort down in Colorado that's better. Like I mean, but I'm saying that the Northwest and the Northwest, like basically like Western Montana down through like I mean like Western Montana has Big Sky, which is a really nice resort, but that's like a 6-hour drive east from me, so it's a long ways away.
You gotta go over the mountain.
There's Jackson Hole in Wyoming, which is really nice. I've never been there, but I know it's
number one. None of you can afford Jackson Hole, so just skip it out.
But up here, Schweitzer is like one of the best. It's a really fucking nice resort. And there's some years where their snow is kind of meh, but like if they have a good snow, it's so fucking good. Like they have so many good like the trail's really good. They have a lot of off trail shit, and you can actually duck the road.
Interesting.
Have you been out to Eve Detroit for the cross country skiing?
No, I have. I'm just saying, like, there's some back trails so like, you could duck the ropes if the ski patrol isn't watching. And there's some stuff that it's not patrolled, not managed. You have to watch out for like, you know, avalanche control because they don't do it back there. But there's some really, if you get a nice powder day, holy shit, you could take some trails that go along the backside of the mountain that's not regulated whatsoever, and you eventually come out on the front side.
So what you're saying is
the right
you haven't
trail
been out
and
to Eve Detroit to find out, like, you know.
No, this is not in Detroit.
What not mountainous skiing is like.
No.
So you're speaking on behalf of skiers. You have a downhill skier privilege.
Yeah, how do you ski uphill?
Well, you don't, but sometimes you ski a cross hill
with difficulty.
I don't cross country ski. I just
sometimes you ski just like across town.
I've never
because,
tried
like, the
skiing.
traffic lights are
I've
out.
never tried skiing. I've only snowboarded, so. And you can't cross
You have to
country.
jump
You
quite a
sad,
lot.
Drake.
You
It
can't.
makes me
You
sad about
cannot
how you
cross
don't know
country.
how, like, other people get around town.
Like snowboarding's fun. I'm sure skiing is fun, but you cannot cross country snowboard. That's just impossible. It would be awful. Like you just don't do it. So.
Well, it would.
And I learned to
that's where snowboarding actually breaks down. This is why snowboarding needs to be reconsidered.
Yeah, it's funny because like
Snowboarding's
there's this big like almost rivalry, almost, you know, like there's the high-sec null-sec rivalry. It's almost like that between skiers and snowboarders. And I don't get that.
Drayden, I don't mean to introduce you to the modern times. This is more along the lines of like 1964 versus 1989.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, there's that rivalry. It's like, I don't have that, because, like, I don't, like, hey,
you didn't get that, did you, Drayden?
I
didn't
did.
get the
Like,
whole,
right over
you
my
didn't
head.
get the 2 dates that I threw in there, did you?
Nope.
I have to wonder, Drayden, though, like, you know, if you're saying that there's this big rivalry between skiers and snowboarders, like,
There can
what the
be,
fuck
but it's
what the fuck do either of those think about snowblades?
Oh,
what's
I've
a
seen those.
snowblade?
Those are
You're in
yeah.
the United Kingdom. What's a
It's
snowblade?
it's like the fruit booters on the ice mountain.
Yeah. Pretty much.
But no, I mean, like, I don't care. Like, hey, whatever people want to go down the mountain on, I don't give a fuck. But there is that one rival, like, snowboarders like, oh, we're the cool kids. And then the skiers like, oh, you're a bunch of assholes. But it's like, but you take
I don't
that
know.
out,
If you're a traditional skier,
there's
maybe, but like,
advantages
there's
to
been
both.
some kind of cool X
I'm
Gamesy
sure
kind of
I'm sure there's
like,
fun to both, but it's like, I learned to snowboard, and I don't want to like relearn how to do shit. So it's like I learned that first.
Were you a
that's what I do.
snowboarder?
Yeah, but I'm not against
See,
skiing.
you grew up
but
as
I
a
just don't know how to
snowboarder.
ski.
Like your mom, like sat there and said, "Yo, you only got one giant fucking fat ski between your 2 feet."
The nice thing is when you eat shit, you don't have to hike up 100 feet and collect your skis.
Bullshit! You gotta like
Your shit is
learn how to like work your ass.
Yeah,
up
but
and,
then
like,
again, you're
stand
not
up
going
with,
like
your
120
feet.
miles an hour.
Your shit is attached to your feet, and then when you tumble and eat shit, it comes with you. The downside is
because if it doesn't come with you,
I'm gonna
it's
tell you right
because
now.
your
I'm gonna tell
leg
you right now.
didn't come with you as well.
From the time I grew up, like all you fucking snowboarders, honestly, if we knew at that time we could have built a wall against you, we would have. Because all of you
Well,
should have
it'd be
been,
a
like,
wall full of snow, it wouldn't
eradicated
have
from
lasted,
the fucking
man.
face of the fucking mountain.
It wouldn't have lasted. It would have
but
melted at some point.
Snowboarders like just push snow down the. It's like you're all terrible for like everything we mean for the mountain, which is nothing but like, can't we just glide?
I think the main disrepute is because of the attitudes, because the stereotypical snowboarder is like
because
this.
you became dicks because we gave you like the ability to be dicks, and it's like no. We totally should have shut your shit down way earlier.
Hold on, and I'm saying that's the stereotypical, because that is like the vocal minority over the silent majority. Because
go ahead, snowboarders, buy your own mountain.
Most snowboarders just go do their shit. They don't like piss off between like a bunch of skiers and stuff. But the one thing that and I don't know if this is the start. I don't know if this is the start of it, but skiers tend to go. They tend to build moguls, but snowboarders do too. And it's like
we don't build moguls.
They fight each other over
just
that.
Happen.
It's because of the differences in the way that they carve. They like. What is like a nice run for a skier might be a little bit different from a snowboarder, and because of that,
it might be a little fucking choppier. Yeah, we get that. That's why we have knees.
Right. Your thing is more knees, ours is more calves.
Oh shit! I didn't realize it was in here.
But so it's like there's this whole rivalry. It's like I don't get the rivalry because I don't give a fuck. But like there are that, like you have the stereotypical like 12-year-old fucking angsty preteen fucking like pot smoking
snowboarders. Yes, those of us we know.
And those kids piss me off too. Like I think I'm like a skier mentality that snowboards. So
why does the skiers? Okay?
Here's the big question:
Why
does
more
all you have fucking
mature
snowboarders?
More, I think skiers are a bit more mature and more like like just general good people, as opposed to like most like. Here's the thing. No, most of the skiers I see are just like general people. Most of the snowboarders I see are like 10 to 20-year-old kids that are just fucking assholes
all the fuckers sneaking
all the
the
time.
coke onto the fucking ski lodge, all the fuckers sneaking the liquor, all the fucking stealing shit.
Nothing
all the
wrong with coke.
acoustic guitars playing "Your Body Is Wonderland" by fucking John fucking Mayer.
Nothing
We're
wrong.
all skiers.
Nothing.
Okay?
Hold on. Nothing wrong with some coke.
We snowboarders, we just smoked weed and fucking hit the high jumps, bitch. We're on the half pipe doing shit.
I wasn't saying also. I'm saying a lot of snow. I'm just saying
we're playing King of the Mountain and shit.
Well, I don't play King of the Mountain. I just go down the hill.
You can't just roll up to Mount Snow and be like, "I got this shit."
Hold on. We should probably move.
The fuck you can.
We're still not in it. we're going into like snowboarding discussions.
You can't just East Coast this fucking like. I got the fucking Kris Kringle on this. I've got the. What was it? Out west it was packed powder. Out east it was what the fuck was it? Crushed glacier? What was the shit we skied on the East Coast? Like it was like.
Well, I skied in like Vermont and New Hampshire, so I was up at West.
No, but like even hold on. And honestly, you could have been fucking Mount Snow down south. You could have been fucking Killington. Like honestly, if you were not actually up at Stowe, if you were not actually up at Stowe in the fucking north, which is literally fucking Canada, like you were on what? It wasn't packed powder. We never had packed powder on the East Coast. It was glacierized fucking fruit flavored. What was that thing you got that was a fruit flavored fucking bite me drink?
The fuck are you talking about?
I'm trying to think of what like the stuff